Wisconsin, presented by Storm Bowling. The Storm U Championships are brought to you by I Am Bowling, the official merchandiser for the SYC. By PBA Junior, the PBA Youth Club for bowlers under the age of 18. And by KEGEL, built for bowling. By Turbo 2-in-1 Grips, 3G Footwear, Master Accessories, Ballard's Bowling Academy, and by Quality Respite and Home Care. All scoring is provided by Bowlmetrics, official tournament management system of the Storm U Championships. This year, all SYC events and tournaments are aligned with charities, Ballard versus the Big C, and Make-A-Wish Utah. The 2023 SYC Wisconsin. Now, live from Titletown, USA, Green Bay, Wisconsin. It's the 2023 SYC Wisconsin. Welcome to the 2023 SYC Wisconsin, presented by Storm Bowling. The Storm U Championships are brought to you by I Am Bowling, the official merchandiser for the SYC. By PBA Junior, the PBA Youth Club for bowlers under the age of 18. And by KEGEL, built for bowling. By Turbo 2-in-1 Grips, 3G Footwear, Master Accessories, Ballard's Bowling Academy, and by Quality Respite and Home Care. All scoring is provided by Bowlmetrics, official tournament management system of the Storm U Championships. This year, all SYC events and tournaments are aligned with charities, Ballard versus the Big C, and Make-A-Wish Utah. The 2023 SYC Wisconsin. Now, live from Titletown, USA, Green Bay, Wisconsin. It's the 2023 SYC Wisconsin. Welcome to the 2023 SYC Wisconsin, presented by Storm Bowling. The Storm U Championships are brought to you by I Am Bowling, the official merchandiser for the SYC. By PBA Junior, the PBA Youth Club for bowlers under the age of 18. And by KEGEL, built for bowling. By Turbo 2-in-1 Grips, 3G Footwear, Master Accessories, Ballard's Bowling Academy, and by Quality Respite and Home Care. All scoring is provided by Bowlmetrics, official tournament management system of the Storm U Championships. This year, all SYC events and tournaments are aligned with charities, Ballard versus the Big C, and Make-A-Wish Utah. The 2023 SYC Wisconsin. Now, live from Titletown, USA, Green Bay, Wisconsin. It's the 2023 SYC Wisconsin. Welcome to the 2023 SYC Wisconsin, presented by Storm Bowling. The Storm U Championships are brought to you by I Am Bowling, the official merchandiser for the SYC. By PBA Junior, the PBA Youth Club for bowlers under the age of 18. And by KEGEL, built for bowling. By Turbo 2-in-1 Grips, 3G Footwear, Master Accessories, Ballard's Bowling Academy, and by Quality Respite and Home Care. All scoring is provided by Bowlmetrics, official tournament management system of the Storm U Championships. This year, all SYC events and tournaments are aligned with charities, Ballard versus the Big C, and Make-A-Wish Utah. The 2023 SYC Wisconsin. Now, live from Titletown, USA, Green Bay, Wisconsin. It's the 2023 SYC Wisconsin. Welcome to the 2023 SYC Wisconsin, presented by Storm Bowling. The Storm U Championships are brought to you by I Am Bowling, the official merchandiser for the SYC. By PBA Junior, the PBA Youth Club for bowlers under the age of 18. And by KEGEL, built for bowling. By Turbo 2-in-1 Grips, 3G Footwear, Master Accessories, Ballard's Bowling Academy, and by Quality Respite and Home Care. All scoring is provided by Bowlmetrics, official tournament management system of the Storm U Championships. This year, all SYC events and tournaments are aligned with charities, Ballard versus the Big C, and Make-A-Wish Utah. The 2023 SYC Wisconsin. Now, live from Titletown, USA, Green Bay, Wisconsin. It's the 2023 SYC Wisconsin. Welcome to the 2023 SYC Wisconsin, presented by Storm Bowling. The Storm U Championships are brought to you by I Am Bowling, the official merchandiser for the SYC. By PBA Junior, the PBA Youth Club for bowlers under the age of 18. And by KEGEL, built for bowling. By Turbo 2-in-1 Grips, 3G Footwear, Master Accessories, Ballard's Bowling Academy, and by Quality Respite and Home Care. All scoring is provided by Bowlmetrics, official tournament management system of the Storm U Championships. This year, all SYC events and tournaments are aligned with charities, Ballard versus the Big C, and Make-A-Wish Utah. The 2023 SYC Wisconsin. Now, live from Titletown, USA, Green Bay, Wisconsin. It's the 2023 SYC Wisconsin.
All right, welcome everyone. We are live from Green Bay, Wisconsin. I am Blair Blumenscheid, and I'm joined by Matt Gaston. We were just joking. Billy Gaston's son, I guess, is your new name.
That is the way that I'm recognized pretty much these days, especially by any of these kids that bowl these tournaments. So.
Oh, yeah, well, Matt, for Storm, you are the regional sales manager for this territory. Yep. So you have... how long have you been with us now?
Over 2 years, probably going on 2.5 now. Yeah.
Yeah, and always this territory, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So you get the Wisconsin and
Minnesota, Iowa, Nebraska, North and South Dakota. Yeah.
Nice. You do get all the cold states.
All the cold ones. Yep.
Yeah. So in the summer, you're like,
this is great.
Yeah, I'm going golfing.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
going to do stuff. So, well, we have a great group of kids that you guys are all going to get to see all day long. 5 games on the short pattern today. Yep, they're bowling on the short. That's what you're seeing here.
Yeah.
The bowlers in front of us, we have Bill Hunsaker, Christian Mouton, Landon Jordan, 5-time SYC champ, shake it off, Alexander Huntley, Carter Westcott, and Dawson Peterson. Those are the bowlers you're going to watch game 1. You can see a little bit to the left, a little bit to the right, but our main pair here. Matt, last night we had a party at the park.
We did.
Isn't it fun to watch the kids just play?
Yeah. Like, it's just, yeah, makes me miss being a kid. You know, like, just like things that they do that you're just like, wow, that's like something I would do but wouldn't think about doing anymore. Like,
right.
We're looking for that Frisbee towards the end, and we couldn't find the Frisbee, and it was like on the other side of the park. They stole it, and we're using it as home plate for the baseball game.
Yeah, never would have thought of that. Yeah. Well, and Brad and Kyle are here this weekend with us, which is super fun to see the kids interacting with them. And we were taking them home to the hotel, and they said, never as a kid would we have just done a 8-on-8 football game and, just called it good, right?
Yep.
But these kids all go hang out, and whether they have friends going in or make friends, it's pretty fun. Fun to watch.
Yeah, it's bowling is definitely a way to have friends across the country. I mean, I joke all the time. I feel like I can go bowl a tournament anywhere in the United States and have someone's house to stay at.
Yeah, right? It's pretty cool. And you bowled a lot as a youth. You also bowled at Robert Morris in college.
I did.
So you've seen the way.
Been around, yep. I did my tours around the country. I mean, we didn't have anything like this, growing up. I bowled JVTs at the time in the Northeast, and they weren't on anything challenging. They was on house shots every weekend, But I'd travel around the Northeast every weekend. But yeah, no, this is definitely a great opportunity for youth bowlers to travel all around the country and bowl in a lot of different areas, meet a lot of different people.
Yeah, like Mr. Landon Jordan, who definitely has seen his fair share of the country already by the prime age of, man, I don't know
16,
how, is he 16?
I think he's 15 or 16.
Yeah, Griffin's driving, so they have to be 16.
Yeah.
I don't know if Landon's driving yet. Landon, I think he does have his license, but Griffin is the brave one that will drive to tournaments now. So, which is also weird. Like, we see these kids when they're
11, 12 years old, and then all of a sudden they're driving themselves to tournaments.
And I'm like, wait a minute.
I'm old.
That's how I feel, right? Yeah, and every time, like Brad and Kyle, I'm sure when they're sitting here today, they're going to be watching, doing the math. How long are these guys going to be on tour bowling against me?
Yes. Well, yeah. I mean, they're. I feel that way now. I mean, I don't really bowl on tour at all
right.
or anything like that anymore. But, as I watch these kids bowl, I'm like, yeah, I'm definitely not going to be bowling anytime soon.
Yeah, I go back and forth. I get inspired by them, and then I also want to hang up my shoes and call it quits by them too. So, yeah, it is what it is. You have the pattern in front of you.
Yeah.
What's the length of the pattern?
So this is 35 feet in distance, 2.38 to 1 ratio. So for those of you that don't know what that means that there's basically 2.38 milliliters of oil in the middle of the lane for every one that there is on the outside of the lane. So there's a little more oil in the middle of the lane than the outside, but not by much.
There you have it. Brad and Kyle in their seminar yesterday said if you're not playing the gutter, you're not really going to score.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty typical of short patterns. You want to play further to the right, keep your break point a little bit further to the right. There's kind of a theory called pattern length minus 31. You take the length of the pattern, subtract it by 31, and that's what your break point should be. There's some other things that come into play, like house characteristics and some things like that could alter from that. But yeah, for the most part, your break points can be somewhere right of 5, 6, 7 on a short pattern. Yeah,
and we are at the beautiful Ashwaubenon Bowling Alley, and they have hosted many events. They hosted the senior championships. They've hosted Queens. They've hosted Masters, PWBA events over the years, and the Orvis family, they're fantastic. They wanted us to come here. I was talking with Ryan yesterday, and he was joking because between when the Masters came the last time, I believe,
2015, and then the Queens in 2016.
Yeah, and so they've actually had these lanes leveled since then.
Okay.
So, a
little bit different for sure.
Yeah.
Topography, house characteristics makes this, huge part of ball motion.
Yeah, absolutely. Got some parents in the chat too, and the great Sean Rash is watching. Good morning, Sean. He pops in from time to time I think he comes in to see who's he's going to be facing on the PBA tour in a few years.
He tries to figure out how old they are so he can figure out how much longer he has until he has to retire.
Yeah. Stephanie Alexander's in. We did wish Keegan happy birthday this morning. Keegan celebrated. We have a couple birthdays actually. Keegan and I did not hear the other youth bowler. I'll have to ask Leanne, the other one that's celebrating a birthday today. Got Tyson Whittington, another SYC bowler. Jennifer Ashby, we're missing you this weekend too. Trevor had to withdraw late. The Vorst family, some of our regulars, you were talking about the kids traveling across the country and bowling every weekend. They really do bowl every weekend.
Oh, yeah.
And so sometimes, August might be the trickiest month because they're going back to school. There's just a ton going on. They just did junior gold. If they have other siblings that are doing stuff, sometimes August is that month that a lot of families are like, you know what? We really just need to take this month off.
Yeah, it's especially, like you said, right? School's starting or getting ready to start for a lot of these kids that are in high school. And I mean, in here, even middle school, and really some even in elementary still, depending on their age. But they just got back from junior gold and some of these other vacation things. And
and your dad actually runs the big youth amateur tournament. A bunch of
them were out there in Delaware. He just ran his big team tournament last weekend or the weekend before that a lot of these kids were at. So
yeah, it's just there's so much to bowl. I mean, I was joking, or actually I use this often because I was talking to Trey's mom last month at an SYC, and she said that she has 3 weekends off between she had 3 weekends off this year. One was Christmas, one was the 4th of July by choice, and then there was another weekend, like Easter or something. And other than that, Trey was bowling every single weekend.
So shout out to the parents.
Yeah, no kidding.
Shout out to the parents for all the support.
Yeah. Your dad has entered the chat.
I'm sure he has.
Hi, Billy. We were talking about you.
He thinks you're Leanne.
Oh, I'm Blair. It's all right, though. Leanne's the great one celebrating a birthday this weekend.
So yeah, just kind of watching some ball. I didn't really get a chance to watch practice session too much yesterday because you and I went over to set up the stuff in the park. But just kind of watching balls go down the lane here. It looks like urethane looks pretty good on this pattern. So I think we're going to see a lot of the urethane balls going down the lane for a while, especially on the guy's side.
Trying to look up
girl side probably not so much, but
I'm trying to look up some bios too to see. This is always the fun game, especially with the U18 aged boys. They usually do not fill out their bios. And so far, I'm striking out with everyone. So, parents, if you're listening, please have your children fill out their bio. It just helps us. All right, we got one. Christian Mouton. He is 15 years old. He's on this pair. I should wait until he's up. He's up next. I'll wait. We'll wait to hear about Christian.
Is that average that's listed on there? Is that his sanctioned average, or is that his SYC average?
This is his sanctioned average. Well, actually, that's a really good question, because a lot of these kids, so we ask them what their average is. So this could be their league average. Some kids don't bowl league, though.
I'm bowling league I got a league this year. I'm bowling for the first time in 5 years.
Yeah,
like that.
right?
Yeah.
Like, if you bowl tournaments, sometimes, the leagues, most of the Saturday morning leagues are on Saturday morning, like the youth leagues.
Yep.
And if they travel for tournaments, they
not
can't
bowling
really
that,
bowl
yeah.
a league. So I'm going to go with this as their USBC sanctioned average. But again, we don't know if they have a sports shot league back home. It could be a sport average.
Sure.
So
Do you guys keep a lifetime average for SYCs?
we do. We do not have to keep it. It's fantastic. Bowlmetrics does it for us. Shout out to our official scoring system of the SYC Bowlmetrics. And what's really cool is any tournament that these kids bowl in that uses Bowlmetrics, the tournament scores get added to their profile. So they kind of build their, how when we were kids, you had to actually build a bowling resume?
Yeah.
Now they can just print off their Bowlmetrics profile and go, here you go, college coach.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty jealous. I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what I bowled this year.
And not only that, but it's some type of, if it's all done automatically, right, then it's, I don't want to say you can't, there's people
Fudge
falsifying
it.
it.
Yeah.
Right?
Uh-huh.
Like you could just say, yeah, I won this, I won that, I won, and the coach
right,
didn't
right,
read it. You
right,
know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
no, that's good.
No, it's great. Yeah. And so obviously the tournaments that aren't in there, they have to fill those out. Like Junior Gold, for example, that one's separate. So they'll put in where they finished in Junior Gold, but it's a really cool system. And we talk about it at every tournament. Anyone that comes and bowls our tournament, they see how easy it is. And, it's open to any tournament. You can just get a hold of Bowlmetrics, and he does packages. So you can do it one tournament. You can purchase a few tournaments. So Ted's really awesome to work with, and
Cool.
we love Bowlmetrics. All right,
Ted.
Mr. Christian. Christian's from Wesley Chapel, Florida.
Oh, yeah, it's just outside of Tampa.
There you go. Home Bowling Center, Pin Chasers Midtown.
Okay.
This is his 4th SYC. His favorite pro bowler is Jackson Beach, which is so funny because that's a SYC bowler. So he's just looking up to one of his fellow competitors. And I will say the one thing that we have seen about Christian makes friends. He is one of the, and not that there aren't a million kids in this tournament that make friends, but he's always one to go out of his way and introduce himself to people. He actually met one of his best travel friends, Xavier Newell, at an SYC, and they travel together all the time now. Their moms get along really well, so they've started traveling.
Awesome.
Yeah, so and that's one of the great parts of youth bowling, right? You make friends that you'll have forever, right? So he says what he enjoys most is traveling and meeting new youth bowlers, bowling at different centers. He has won 4 PBA regionals, I think PBA junior regionals, and he's made the Junior Gold finals match play 2 years in a row. And he wants to be a commercial pilot when he grows up.
And that's different, right? That's cool.
Yeah, it is. And then he wants to say shout out to Xavier Newell, one of his great friends from New York, and he's the brother he never had.
That's exactly what we were just talking about.
Yep, super
Florida,
cool.
New York.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
And you have people here that, like, there's a trio, they're best friends. They're Chicago, Texas, and Nashville. Never would have met had it not been for bowling. So.
Yep. And then they're at that age too, that 15, 16, and then they kind of collaborate and end up going out to college somewhere together, and
Exactly. Yeah. Mr. Landon Jordan. We have talked about the Landon 5-time SYC champ. He has won Junior Gold twice, I believe. Someone's going to have to correct me. Pretty sure it's twice. And Landon is a member of Team USA this year. He's bowled on the PBA junior national TV shows. You've seen him bowl a lot.
Yeah, really, really talented. Really, really good hand at the bottom ball roll. So, just bowled I thought I saw online, he just bowled 868 in some tournament last week or 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So
not shocking.
No shortage of strikes.
Yeah. But Landon, like we just talked about with Christian, Landon is an awesome friend at the SYCs too. He meets new guys, he introduces himself, he helps people out. His dad Tony is always here coaching, but Tony's not just helping his boys.
He runs
anyone,
around all the time,
anyone that needs help, he's willing to help. And Tony told me a story one time. Landon was bowling junior gold, and one of the bowlers he was bowling against was kind of bowling in the wrong part of the lane where they were at in this match. And after the match was done, Tony asked the bowler, "Hey, could I talk to you?" And kind of shared what he saw and just tried to. He's like, I wasn't
educate, yeah.
Right, I wasn't trying to make him feel bad. I wanted him to be better the next time that he stepped on the lanes, and that's just who the Jordans are. They're trying to help bowling get better, which is really cool.
I thought I saw in his bio that he is really good at Uno.
Oh,
so
yes.
If he's listening, this is the official Uno challenge to the entire Jordan family.
You know who else you can call out? Ellie Kate. Little Ellie Kate.
Ellie, is she?
Ellie is a huge Uno. You could you call out anyone.
I was like a 8-time world Uno champion back in my day. So
there you go. All right, Matt's calling out anyone that wants to face him at Uno. We'll make that match happen. So scores, short patterns are usually. This is usually the tricky part for the bowlers, but I'm seeing some scores this morning. They came out striking.
It's interesting that he's playing that part of the lane. Everybody else is kind of out to the right, and he's kind of shaping it off of that spot a little bit, which is kind of the opposite of what we were talking about, kind of the idea of the lane to play is. So it'll be interesting to see how he kind of plays the lanes throughout the block and how he scores.
I heard, now I don't know, the bowlers were telling me yesterday that they felt like all of the patterns played tighter than they thought they would.
Yeah, and that could make some sense if they just got the lanes leveled recently.
Right.
If the lanes just got leveled recently, there's no, depressions or, the topography is pretty flat in the lane. So as your ball kind of goes to the right, there's no, like I said, depressions in the lane to help slow it down. It kind of just shoots to the right, or kind of the patterns just almost feel flat, like no matter what you have out. So if it gets going right, it kind of wants to hang to the right.
And I have seen that a little, not so much on this pair, but to the right, I've seen some balls go longer than I thought they might hit in the 3-pin.
Yeah. Yeah, it makes the lanes play a lot truer. Topography and install. I mean, you can oil whatever pattern you want. If the house characteristics, the topography, all that stuff kind of allows the gutter to be in play. The gutter's going to be the place to play in that house. Just about, unless you put out 45, 48 feet or something like that, and there's just too much oil out there. But any type of friction where the gutter's in play, and that's where people are going to be playing.
Absolutely.
So.
I believe Dawson Peterson. I'm trying to remember what Dawson Peterson did. I want to say he was the youngest to shoot 300. He's from Terry McKinney's area.
I feel like they're getting younger. I just saw a video on Facebook the other day. Another 10-year-old just shot 300 in Chicago or something.
Well, they bowl so much. I mean, it's. I'm doing a quick search on Dawson Peterson because I know he did. I just can't place what he did. Well, he bowled a 300 at the PBA Junior National Qualifier at Wauwatosa. So he's definitely had 300. Gonna have to text Terry. Terry, why am I forgetting what Dawson?
He's right here.
Oh, there he is. Hey, Terry. All right. He's just a great bowler. He had maybe the high average of the state for high school or something. But anyway, keep an eye out for Dawson Peterson. You know, the one thing that's really cool about this tournament, too, is there's 80 first-time SYC bowlers in the field.
Wow. How many entries did you guys get for this tournament
I
total?
think it's maxed out. Oh, man. It's
Well, quick math is 60 lanes times 3 on a lane is 180, right?
yeah, maxed out at 180. I think we were full. Yeah, we had a few
almost half the field
withdrawals
first time.
last couple days. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we've never really been up this far north.
Sure.
So, and there's a
There's-
lot of Wisconsin bowlers.
There's a lot of Wisconsin bowlers, and there's a lot of Wisconsin youth bowlers. High school bowling is huge in Wisconsin, and there's a lot of bowling centers that I visit in my travels that have massive youth programs.
Yeah.
You know, kind of once you get north of Milwaukee.
Yeah, and you guys, there's a lot of youth tours up here too.
Yep.
We the Wisconsin Junior Bowlers Tour, JBST, EYTs, I would say, pull from Wisconsin. There's just a lot of stuff for kids to bowl in up here.
Yeah, and truth be told, it just comes down to us not having anything to do for 7-8 months of the year, you know. So everybody's inside bowling, you know.
Yeah.
This is a big bowling town. I mean, I was having the conversation about it the other day of, you know, the bowling meccas in the United States, and, you know, you've got your Detroits and your Chicagos and your Milwaukee's, actually Minneapolis, St. Paul area is big, and you got, you know, Iowa and Omaha are big, and you know, it's cold most of the year.
It's cold.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to be outside. I'm telling you. We were joking because, you know, today is the first home Packers preseason game today in Green Bay, and we went and visited the stadium, and I'm still a little shocked that it's outdoor stadium.
Oh, it's not called the Frozen Tundra for no reason.
Yeah.
It's cold.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of the things that makes going into Green Bay and winning a game so hard, you know.
Right, because it's snowing.
Yeah.
Or
it's not just snowing. I mean, we're also right off of the lake, so you've got you know, you've got winds blowing like crazy. You got snow all the time. It's frigid. You know, they're playing games with wind chills. Got to be it's definitely in the negatives.
Not to mention the fans. The fans.
Yeah, they're
of Green
shirtless.
Bay.
They're standing there in
Right?
the stands shirtless. They're crazy.
I mean,
sorry, Green Bay people, y'all are crazy.
Yeah. I believe that being a true fan is so important, right? Like a Green Bay Packers fan, you
Die hard.
are a diehard. A Buffalo Bills fan, diehard, right? Like I respect your fandom. I do not feel like I can be part of your fandom.
No, I'll watch from the warmth of my my living
Yeah,
room.
it's amazing. So shout out to all the Packers fans. But, Sam Lucy, she put hashtag the power of cheese. I just want to show you guys. I have a couple of cheese slides today because why not? We're in Wisconsin, right? So we might pop in from time to time having cheese. Our Be Right Back might have spinning cheese wheels on it because you're like, come on, Wisconsin. I have not had cheese curds yet though. I'm like,
Oh wow.
I need to change that.
There's not many places that I've been in Wisconsin that have bad cheese curds yet, to be honest. Like, normally, like my go-to for cheese curds when I'm on the road is Culver's. I think they have pretty good cheese curds. And in Wisconsin, Culver's cheese curds is like blasphemy. Like, you cannot go to Culver's and get cheese curds. There's just so many, you know what I mean?
Yeah, so many better options. I
Yeah.
feel like the bowling center here probably has cheese curds that I can pick up at lunch. All right, so Mr. Dawson Peterson, as I was talking about him striking a lot in Bowling 300, he Had 5 in a row.
Yeah, got off to a good start. Throwing urethane to the right, kind of in the right part of the lane. As we were just kind of talking about it before, I'm just, like I said, I'm just kind of watching Landon's ball reaction. And it's not bad. It's just he's just having trouble getting the ball to face up to the pins the right way. Gets a little bit behind it, strikes, gets a little bit behind it, strikes. I think it's just going a little too far down the lane, a little too much angle.
Agreed. I think he just got deeper.
Yep, a little 9-pin. Just having trouble getting it to face up the right way.
Yeah. Wow. I believe he knows what he's doing, though, because he's, yeah, he'll figure it out. Maybe he's just preparing because he's like, the lanes are probably going to go here, and he doesn't want to make a big jump, and so he's just getting in place for later.
His brother's out there playing it. Yeah. Well, maybe, I mean, to be honest, I will say, this is my second or third SYC, and I will say there is significantly less urethane going down the lane than I've seen in years past, and it's a short pattern.
Yeah.
So it's like where I expect it. So I'm just wondering if like all of these rule changes that have been happening lately are making kids kind of go away from throwing it so much. They're like, well, I'm not going to be able to, my dream's to go on tour, and I'm not going to be able to throw it on tour, so why would I waste my time throwing it now,
Right. All right. Brad and Kyle have entered the building. Anyone watching? Yeah, I think you're totally right. And I would say more and more kids have aspirations of going out, whether part-time or full-time, on the PBA tour. I hear it all the time. That's what they want to do. And they're even, and I think what's different than when maybe, 10 years ago or so, when kids were wanting to go out on tour, these kids are, we talked about Christian wanting to be a pilot.
This is tour.
They are on tour, and they're figuring out, okay, like Christian, he wants to be a pilot. So some of these kids have figured out, okay, what career can I do where I still can maybe be a weekend warrior?
Sure.
So they're not really, like some bowlers, like I think Landon has aspirations to go out full-time on tour. But others are like, okay, what career can I have where I still can bowl, but like kind of like you, right? You dabble a little bit when you can, go out and bowl. And then still have a full-time job, right?
Yeah, and I mean, it's, there's definitely some, depending on what you wanted to do, with your career. I mean, realistically, the tour full-time is just January to, May or June. And, if you do well, you might have a couple of weeks after that in the playoffs and stuff. But, you got the back half of the year to kind of do what you want to do.
Right.
So.
It's true.
Yeah, I dabble. Not as much as I probably should. I need to get back into dabbling a little bit more.
It's hard. When you have a job, it's hard to...
It is hard.
I mean, I say this, like the kids have aspirations would be part-time. Be prepared, because it is hard to fit in practice while you're working.
It's not only is it hard to fit in practice, but admittedly, it's traveling all week, visiting bowling centers all week, talking bowling all week, and I get a weekend. I just, I
don't want to
be in a bowling center.
I feel like that more and more. Yeah.
So... especially when the weather's nice out like it has been, everyone's out playing golf and,
right.
Or fishing or camping or whatever, your outside activity is. And, I mean, there's times I was talking about the other day, you go bowl a tournament, an 8-game tournament, and I spend the first 4 games figuring out where my legs are and how to walk to the line again. And then I figure it out and it's fine, but I'm just too far behind at that point, and then the tournament's over, and then I don't bowl again for 2 months.
Yeah, I would much rather spend my time watching these kids bowl on a weekend than going and trying to bowl myself. Yeah. Honestly, I think watching that, like these kids, they're just so talented. You look across the board, and the fundamentals just are so good. As Landon just gets one to snap up that spot, man. Got another parent, Joe Murphy, in the chat. Stephanie is asking if the trophy is a block of cheese, which I wish we had done that.
You know what? I was just I saw the comment earlier, and I think historically the trophies are always in the shape of the state that it's in, right?
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if you guys should mix it up next season and find out what that state's cool and famous for. Yeah, do an item. Yeah, do
that would be cool.
A thing of cheese, like a block of cheese or something like that.
I think some states have cooler items than others, but a block of cheese would have been really cool.
Well, it doesn't have to be, if you do go to like California, it could be like a giant wave of
Yeah.
some sort. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, that'd be cool.
You could
yeah.
always, yeah.
Oh, they had Mikey and Darren's mom ran that tournament, and it was surfboards.
Yeah,
those
something
trophies,
cool like
those
that.
are so
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Maybe we can ask Leanne. Or maybe we just, like, sometimes you can do different colors. Like, right now they're always blue.
Oh, yeah, you can mix
I wonder
it up
if we
year
can
to
make,
year.
like, a block of cheese-colored... see, now we're going down a really weird path, but it could happen. You never know. You never know what we come up with, peeps. Nice shot by Alexander there. As Bill is clearing out some deadwood. Don't panic. Don't panic, everyone. It's deadwood. Looks like if you can minimize your opens, you can score on this pattern. That's what I'm seeing across the board.
Well,
Got a
that's true.
245.
That's true of any pattern.
Yeah, thanks. Good point. 245 on lane 1. I can't see who that is. Jaden something? Maybe? Maybe score. I don't know. I have to let the scores come in because we only can see a little tiny block of this gigantic bowling center. As Matt Orvis told me this morning as I was walking with the banners, I said, "You guys get your steps in here." He said, "Yeah, we're longer than a football field." They really are.
Yeah. Yeah, short patterns like this. I mean, like I said, 35 feet in length. You got another 25 feet of just bone dry friction after that 35 feet of oil. So it's all about managing the lanes front to back and managing all that friction that's on the lane. That's why a lot of urethane looks so good because it's so mellow.
Yeah. So Griffin Jordan on lane 6, he had a very nice game going. And this might be why Landon is a step in, because that ball just never even thought about.
Yep. And like I said, they flatten out the lanes a little bit, and that friction off of 1, 2, 3 that it used to kind of come off of, now it just kind of hangs out there and gets behind the head pin the wrong way.
Good spare.
Great spare.
Griff's like, I got this. No problem. A spare by Carter. No issue there. How many gutters have you thrown on a short pattern?
To be perfectly honest, Blair, I am throwing gutters on not short patterns right now. So, and I'm not joking. Like I've probably thrown 5 or 6 gutters in the last year from fourth arrow.
Yeah.
So I'm just
It
trying to.
happens.
My goal doesn't matter about short pattern. My goal right now is just to keep it on the lane.
Yeah.
So
It totally happens. I mean, when your eyes are on the 1 board or the 2 board or even the 3 board, you're going to hit the gutter.
Yeah, and to be perfectly honest, when, back when I was bowling and not that I don't bowl anymore, but, when I'm bowling on short patterns, I'm always like, don't be afraid to throw in the gutter.
Yeah.
If I'm going to miss, just throw it there. I'd rather throw it in the gutter than throw it over my left toe on a short pattern because at least I'm trusting it and, confident.
Right. Yeah, and you can spare it up. It's no loss, really. Sometimes if you miss in, you leave a split, and you can't spare that most of the time. So it happens, bowlers. That's all I'm saying.
It does.
Don't panic when it's in the gutter on the short pattern. And practice it, right? Like, that's the key.
Yeah, and that's it's a hard part of the lane to practice because you can't do it. It's like the one part of the lane you really can't practice on a house shot. Like I actually think house shot's a good way to practice because you can play so many different areas of the lane and do so many different things with the ball.
Yeah.
But you can't lay the ball down on 1, 2, 3 or right of 5,
No.
and practice.
You
So
can't.
yeah, you got to get a chance to get out and have your center put out a short pattern or something that you can play out there.
Landon did not like that one, but it held. I agree with Goodman. He says he loves the confidence all of the youth bowlers have.
No
Agreed.
fear. Yeah.
They really don't.
Yeah, I mean you have to bowl that way. I mean it's one of the things that makes SYMO so good.
Yes. No fear.
No fear.
Yeah.
It's like I was with Francois all weekend or this past week in Detroit. We were kind of talking about some different things, different bowlers on tour, and just talking about the things that SYMO does. season that like nobody else does. You know what I mean? Like he won that tournament with Wichita where he's throwing like a urethane ball on a 45-foot pattern, like throwing it right to left at the head pin, and just beating everybody by 20 a game, and just the creativity and just like even if you haven't practiced it before, it's like I'm a professional bowler, like I'm gonna make it work.
Right.
That's what I have to do. Yeah.
Yeah, we had Danielle on the morning bowl, Danielle McEwen, and she was talking about how at the Lucy she bowled with Simo, and she witnessed that mentality and the no fear, and like she said, she's like he would come back and he'd tell me he was changing something and he'd go and do it the next frame.
Yeah.
She's like it takes me like 2 to 3 frames to build up the courage to make a change like that, and he's just doing it instantly and he starts striking.
Well, yeah, and then that's part of the reason that they won. I mean, everybody was in the left gutter, and all of a sudden he ball changed and moved back to the right gutter and started beating everybody by 20 a game again. I mean, it's just moves like that. I mean, part of that is just a level of understanding of the patterns and lane play that he has as well, but just his ability to, no fear and just go out and make a shot like that. I mean, that's, it's just have to be able to do that.
Yeah, I love it. So Mr. Alex Huntley here, he's finishing up a 2-teen game. Bill Hunsicker had a 173. Still solid on a short pattern. Anything close to 180.
I see some higher scores. I see a 240 down there.
Yeah. 230 Clark Bonwell here.
Yeah, I see a couple of scores, but for the most part, they're much lower than I was expecting them to be.
Me too. Everyone started really strong, and then it kind of...
Yep, that's kind of the trick with the short patterns and the urethane balls. They push a little bit of the oil down the lane, and then they get a little bit wiggly, and it starts getting easier and easier to get behind the head pin with the urethane balls. Speed control is key, keeping the speed a little softer, making sure that urethane ball reads the lane, just like that.
Yep. So Alexander finished up with 216. We got Papa Frank Starkey in the chat. Hello, Frank. We're missing you this weekend. Nana wouldn't let him come.
Girls' weekend?
I guess. I love it. We'll try to keep Nana under control. We can make no promises. Carter's asking it to stay, please.
Begging.
Stay to the right. Stay to the right. All right, so I believe next game we'll have either Brad or Kyle. And then at one point I'm just gonna let Brad and Kyle come in here.
Sure.
And just take it over.
Brad and Kyle take over.
I
like it.
That's what we're doing today, because I mean, how many opportunities do you have to let Brad and Kyle talk about the kids? That's pretty fun.
It is.
Got Jeremy Combs. Jaden Combs just graduated from high school graduated from high school, graduated from youth bowling. It's moving on to college. This is kind of a bittersweet time of year too, because we have all of the youth bowlers that have aged out, and this is the first tournament where we're like, oh, Jaden's gone, or this youth bowler is aged out.
Are SYCs 18 and under or 20 and under?
It's 18 and under, yeah.
So basically,
we follow the USBC.
We might have some freshmen in college, but other than that,
right.
Yeah.
Sometimes you'll have that birthday that lets you sneak in that first year.
That was me. I was I was like a year younger than everybody else in my whatever grade I was in.
Yeah. Yeah, that August 1st birthday, man, it is so crucial. You have no idea when you're having a kid what will happen. All right, Mr. Landon Jordan. Oh.
Just erratic. Yep.
Well, you know what? He will move. So they're skipping 2 pairs. We'll kind of be able to eyeball. I would like to see what Landon decides to do, whether he stays out there. Maybe we'll see on the fill whether he stays where he's at, tries to move back to the right.
It's interesting because he threw that last shot on the left lane. I thought he missed up the lane and was to weigh in, and it laid there. And then that one I thought he threw a lot better, and it just chirped off it.
Yeah.
Really hard.
Yeah. I think he thought he threw it better too, because.
We'll see if he tries something here on the fill.
Stephanie Alexander says Keegan has the golden birthday by 19 days. See, it's such when you have a kid that's doing sports, you start to know what you want.
And it's like I said, when you have things like this to bowl, it makes youth makes staying youth more attractive. There's more competition.
Oh,
there's a lot more money.
absolutely.
Like when I was youth, there were a handful of big tournaments throughout the year, but nothing like this, nothing like some of the tournaments that my dad's running, nothing like some of the tournaments that some of these other
It's
tournament directors are running.
incredible.
Like there's so much opportunity. Like I went adult when I was 17
Right.
or 18 or however old I was.
Right, because there just wasn't that much to bowl.
Yeah,
Right.
and I was cocky and I was getting better and I was like, I'm gonna go win regular money now.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
We have another bowler, Nikki Herstrud is in the chat. Lucas is going to St. Ambrose this weekend. Good luck to him. This is move-in weekend for a lot of kids too, so that's what I mean. August is just a busy month.
yes,
Good luck, Nikki. Good luck moving the kids in. Don't pack too much. That's my advice. Those dorm rooms are small. All right, we're going to take a really short break, and we will be back soon because the bowlers are pretty much here. So we'll be right back. All right, we are back, and Brad or Kyle, or Brad and Kyle will be here soon, but I didn't want bowlers to be waiting, or parents to be waiting if they're watching some bowlers. Thank you to Lynn. I could not remember the other bowler celebrating a birthday. Shout out to Ian Kloss. Ian and Keegan Alexander are both celebrating birthdays today. There were a lot of birthdays this week. Little Taylor Morgan celebrated a birthday. Leanne, of course, celebrating a birthday yesterday. There's another bowler celebrating a birthday yesterday. August is a popular. Beth Starkey celebrated a birthday this week. Lots and lots of birthdays. So shout out to all the August birthday folk. Mr. Brian Hirsch in the chat. Good to see you, Brian. So the bowlers will be watching this game are Jonathan Irvin, Brady Lesnar, Chase Swenson, Jaden Kenny, Levi Gabriels, and Darren Zarian. So, like always, I will try to pull up some bios. Let's see who we have here. I'm going to start doing a contest for the bowlers that fill out their bios. Try to get some of these kids to Tell me who they are, because we love talking about them. See Mr. John Irvin. I like his jersey. A little lightning bolt action today. Taking the lanes by storm. Throwing his pitch black. Looks like he missed a little in. Good 9 out of that though, John. Jaden Kenny. Nice shot. That's a double. Double for Mr. Jaden. All right, we got Levi. Levi is supporting an awesome breast cancer awareness shirt by I Am Bowling. I Am Bowling is our official merchandiser of the SYC. They have some really great SYC gear here this weekend for any families who are in town. Need some new apparel. If you are watching a bowler, you can give them a shout out in the comments. We love hearing who you're watching. Chase Swenson has a very cool outfit on today. He's got all the colors. Pink, yellow, his belt has a little bit of everything on it. Digging it. Digging it, Chase. Digging your vibe. Nice shot. Ooh. Seen Chase bowl at a couple SYCs. He just gets a handful. It's fun to watch. Dalton is going for a more patriotic jersey today. A little red, white, and blue. I Am Bowling does a great job of making a bunch of different jersey designs. You see our SYC jersey to the left. Well, it was to the left. He just sat back down, but you'll see a lot of different SYC designs come through. They do a good job of giving bowlers options for each event. You can pick up a SYC jersey from the tournament they're bowling, or pick one from a different event. Mr. Caden Pringer to the right. So Levi, we were just talking earlier about Mr. Landon Jordan playing the lanes a little further in. Levi's going with that method as well. Got a shout out to Christian Sedgwick. Of course, you can check the scores on bowlmetrics.com. Our scorekeepers are inputting them right now. It isn't automatic, but they will go in pretty quickly after each game, so you can see what the bowlers are doing. Get updated. Okay. We've lost Brad and Kyle. Brad and Kyle if you're in the building, come see me. They're probably talking to bowlers and parents because that's what they should be doing, and they've done a great job. They did an awesome seminar yesterday, which was super fun. They helped us surprise Leanne with a cake. Brad and Kyle are fantastic. If you're ever at an event and they're there, definitely go talk to them. We did get to hear the story of how they started vlogging, too, which was pretty fun. All the families in Wisconsin got to hear that story. Oh, I found Brad. Brad is here. Hey, Brad.
Wow, look at this setup.
I was just bragging about you.
This is a good setup.
Thanks.
Nice and simple.
Yeah, right? We try. Well, it flies with me, so it has to fly. Brad Miller has entered the live stream booth. Welcome, Brad.
Hey, how we doing?
I was just bragging about you guys doing such a great job with the seminar yesterday with the parents. I've heard nothing but good things.
Really?
Yeah, they loved it.
It was good?
Yeah, they loved
All
it.
right.
Yeah, I know you never really know, right? But yeah.
Because when you're talking, nobody really wanted to ask questions. No one
Yeah.
was really reacting. So it was
Yeah.
like, all right, did they even get anything out of this?
Oh no, you guys told some great stories, and I think a lot of the families loved it. So.
The park last night was awesome. That was just a great time.
Oh yeah, it's really fun. Yeah, so I do have to give you a little shout out. My mom is in the chat.
All right.
My mom is a huge Brad and Kyle fan, apparently. I learned this.
All right.
Not that I wasn't. I'm a fan of all you guys, right? But she's been watching YouTube, I guess, and so she follows your journeys. And
Sweet.
yeah, she loves it. So
Thank you, Mama.
I might have to have you sign something this weekend for her.
Yeah,
so,
no problem.
Okay. Yeah, but you have a lot of fans here. So the kids love you. The kids love following your journey on YouTube. I love that you keep it real for everyone.
Yeah.
Like you're like, listen, I'm going to show you what the PVA tour is really like, and these kids, I think, appreciate it.
Yeah, it's not all glamorous. It's nice to be prepared for it. Because I don't know, I was kind of naive. It's like you go out there and you think, oh, I'm just going to bowl and get better and it's going to work out. And then 6 years down the road, it's not. And it's like, all right, what are we going to do?
Yeah, right.
But now there's ways. There's players that are making a living just talking about it, promoting it. There's ways you could do, start a podcast. There's a lot of opportunities now.
Yeah, and I think these kids really, we were just talking about it because there was a kid on, Christian Mouton was just on this pair earlier, and he filled out his bio and he wants to be a commercial pilot. And we were talking about different, the kids that do want to go out, they might go part-time and they're finding careers that maybe they can find ways to make it work.
Yeah.
With another career or like you said, finding a different way to do it. But I think a lot of these kids have aspirations of doing it at some level, and you see that in how many pullers show up at the PTQs now, right?
Oh, man.
It's incredible.
Yeah, and then you talk to bowling alleys, and a lot of bowling alleys are doing well. It's hard to get tournaments on weekends because bowling alleys are doing so well on weekends in the open play. And I don't know, I just think everybody you talk to, it's kind of just on the up and up since COVID.
Yeah, right?
Which is good because COVID was a nightmare.
Oh, for everyone.
For everyone.
Yeah, these kids too. I think a lot of them still remember when school was shut down.
Yeah.
And that's so hard. I mean, you mentioned the park last night, right? You see all these kids come out. Their friends are here.
Yeah.
And then you took that away from them. All of a sudden you can't go bowl youth tournaments.
Yeah. I was talking to some parents about that last night. For me personally, my friends in high school were obviously some great friends, but I just couldn't wait to just hang out with other bowlers.
Right.
They did what I did. And it reminded me of our little friend groups last night, just seeing all the friend groups that are around here.
Yeah, and they
They love it.
They find it. Because I always hear parents, when they're getting their kids into their first tournament, or when they're young and they're just starting out, they're like, oh, I don't know how my kids are going to make friends. And I'm like, you really don't have to worry about it. Like, it's just gonna happen.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to stress, and it's,
Even if your kid's not social,
Yeah.
he'll find another not social kid,
Right.
and they'll mingle.
exactly. There's no fear at all. So, you do have some fans. It looks like Dr. Wisdom 1,
Yeah.
Dr. Wisdom 1.
Dr. Wisdom.
He loves watching your videos on YouTube.
Pink pants with a white belt. I've never worn pink pants with a white belt in my life. That's something Kyle could. Wow.
Kyle would pull that off, I think.
Yeah.
Not you so
Kyle's
much.
got fashion.
Yeah. Short pattern. Do you like short patterns?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. All right. So we're seeing some interesting, like here, take Levi for instance. He's playing way in. Landon Jordan was actually doing that as well.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the guys are trying to play the gutter. I have heard this bowling center has been leveled.
Really?
It has, since you guys both here.
Well, the bar is unbelievable.
Yeah.
That
right.
was not like that when we were here.
No, yeah. So they've done a lot of advancements, and they did have the lanes leveled. It was after the Masters. I think it was before. I don't know when they did it, but it appears like the short pattern's playing pretty tight because of that.
Yeah, some kids told me last night that they were having a hard time getting their ball to hook.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, throw it slower. But it's hard because when you throw it slow, it hooks too much.
Yeah.
Or it can hook too much.
So I think some kids are trying to move in to kind of combat that.
Mm-hmm. But JJ, I think in the video said that it was a good amount of oil.
Yes.
And something with the
pattern's
way
actually
it
right
was
next to
shaped.
it.
I forget exactly what he said,
Yeah.
but he said it's going to feel pretty slick.
Yeah. Well, it is. It's kind of flat. I mean, it's not flat, but it's flat.
Yeah, it's
flatter for an SYC pattern.
Yeah. So Jillian and Spencer have 12 titles each.
Yes.
How many do you guys run a year? 8?
Well, here's what was interesting about that. So the SYC started in 2017, and there were only 2 tournaments that first year. And then the next year there were 4. And then it's kind of grown from there.
Okay.
So we are averaging about 8 a year now.
Okay.
That's kind of since COVID, that's been our happy medium. We are, for anyone listening, we are kind of buttoning up the schedule, and we're shooting for September 1st to announce the 2024 schedule.
All right.
But it is kind of that 8 a year. So they did it before there were a lot, which is even harder. But Spencer has told me, he's like, I know I'm going to get beat because 12 is just,
But 12 seems like so much.
Yeah, right. Well, and Gianna has 10 right now, but it's impossible. We don't make these tournaments. It's not a true tour in that we expect everyone to bowl every event.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, go and bowl the ones that are in your area. Bowl what you want.
Yeah.
But we don't do any player of the year. We don't do any year-end
Okay.
awards.
Okay.
So they're not chasing anything that way.
Okay.
Because for a few reasons, we've gone back and forth on it, but it is so hard to get into them. So it would make it even harder if people were chasing
That'd be
year-end.
devastating.
Right.
Yeah.
Like if you're chasing year-end stuff and then you're like, oh, I didn't get in and I'm player of the year and I'm going to lose because I'm not in a tournament. So, and they're kids. We're already thankful the parents bring them to as many as they do, but we're not trying to, financially burden anyone.
There's some families that have been to every one.
Very few have been to everyone. We have some that have missed a couple here and there. We have a group that they're kind of bowling everything you can bowl. That would be the Joss, the Mateo, Keegan, Alexander. But this weekend, Keegan's here, but Stephanie's watching from Alabama. So sometimes as you make friends, they'll send the kid and they'll travel with another family, but the parents won't be there too.
Right.
So.
Oh yeah.
So because it's just hard. I mean,
it is hard.
And there's so many so the SYC's running, PBA Junior's running, all the youth tours in all these different areas. There's just a lot of youth bowling.
I saw this is an affiliate of PBA Junior.
Yeah, we're one of the PBA Junior came out with a really cool program. So they run their own tournaments, but they also offer any youth tour across the country can be a PBA Junior affiliate. So the bowlers that are PBA Junior members this weekend will get points towards PBA Junior rankings.
Interesting.
And then they're chasing the scholarship through PBA Junior too by being a member. So it's I've always thought of it like, I think what, I don't work for PBA Junior by any means, but we have had conversations with them. And I think what they're trying to do, other sports for kids have a junior ranking system, like tennis, right? So
Yeah,
you're ranked
as you
in the
come
Midwest, you're ranked in the national. So I think that's what PBA Junior is really trying to do, is finally build a ranking system for youth bowling.
That'd be cool.
So that colleges can go, or, if we take one of the bowlers here, like Dalton would go to his college coach and say, hey, I'm ranked 75th in the nation or whatever, or 25th or whatever ranking you have, and it's a true ranking.
Like
Yeah. So I think that's what they're trying to do. And there's a lot of tournaments that we're partners with at Storm that are PBA Junior affiliates. So if you don't, if you have a kid and if they're not PBA Junior members, it's really something to look into. They have a yearly membership. They get a jersey with their membership.
Yeah.
Which is pretty sweet.
Yeah, that's, they have, doesn't the PBA Junior have a TV show?
They do. Yeah, they have one. Actually, they all bowled last weekend. There were satellite events all over the country. And then the top two from each of those satellites on the girls and boys side go to a TV show.
Yeah.
Which is awesome.
That's
that's what we were talking about. Was it yesterday? I can't remember who I was talking about it with, but these kids have TV experience before they're even 15, 16 years old.
Yeah, that's insane.
Could you imagine?
Normally, you got to go through college. Normally, when I was growing up through the ranks, you had to get to a collegiate TV show.
Yeah.
You had to be in a top 2 on a collegiate at nationals to get any type of TV experience before the PBA tour. That was the only way.
Right. Yeah. And now, like live stream too, these kids, I think they get so used to cameras being facing them. Like when I was a kid, I remember the first event I ever bowled that was live was Junior Gold, and it was the most terrifying experience of my life. Just seeing a camera behind me. I'm like, oh my gosh. What is that? But these kids are like, that's fine. No problem.
Yeah.
Like, you can come by with your camera for the vlog, and they're like, yeah, I'll be in it.
So I know, that's cool. Because the kids are the best. They're funny.
Yeah.
They have they're just funny.
Yeah.
But when Justin Bone,
oh yeah,
did he bowl a lot of this stuff?
He did, and he would vlog them. Yeah. And
they had that thing called the crew.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And that was around here.
It
floated around the SYCs?
It did. Yeah. A lot of them. I think we've actually aged out most of the crew. The only one that maybe left is the youngest Harmon brother, but that was awesome. That all started when...
That was good exposure.
It was fantastic for everyone, right? And Justin always liked kind of doing the video stuff, which is what he wants to do for a career. And the families, it all started in Myrtle Beach because the families all got a house together. And so all of these friends, they all started hanging out, and then Justin started filming it. And they had this one tournament where they were asking everybody, would you put Nutella or syrup on bacon? That was the question. And so they built this whole team Nutella and team syrup because people were definitely Nutella or definitely syrup, and there was no in between.
Really?
No one was both. And then at one tournament they had people taste it. They made bacon, and they were tasting.
I've never heard anyone putting Nutella on bacon.
I guess it started with they went to one of the pancake places, like a restaurant,
and they did
and it was a Nutella pancake, and it got on the bacon, and then it turned into this whole thing with syrup or Nutella. But yeah, you can go look at their YouTube channel, and they have that video on there. So they were
funny.
one of the crews, and that's the other thing you talked about. You have the different friend groups, right? And then the friend groups pass through, right? All those friend groups now they're in college, right? And they're all still friends, but they may be spread across the country, right? But now we have the next friend group coming through, and you see it come through, and sometimes they want to vlog it, and sometimes they don't. And we have a little U15 friend group right now, and there'll be another U12 friend. I mean, they're just, it's always the groups are coming through.
Yeah, it is interesting.
Yeah. And they're also welcoming to each other. It's really, youth bowling is really great. The kids are great. The families are great.
Even when we were playing 8v8 football at the park last night, they were just like letting, everybody have the ball and everybody had a shot to run it down the field.
Yeah,
and they
so
were just
supportive, right? It's not like, it's not play to the death football.
No.
Yeah. All right, we got Levi here. So it looks like transition is, I don't know if it's transition or the lanes are just hard.
I think the lanes are hard.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of people are trying to play them inside.
Yeah.
It's not easy to do that.
Well, that's what we saw Landon Jordan doing this pair, and we're like, oh, that's different. And now I see more and more of the guys. Maybe the gutter's just not playing.
Maybe.
And we don't see a ton. You see urethane, but for a short pattern, it's not a ton of urethane. There's a lot of reactive out there too. Do you like urethane?
No.
Did you want to think about that? I'm just kidding. Yeah, it's tough, right? It's tough to use. It's tough.
It is tough.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially. It's not that I don't like it.
Yeah.
It's just all my competitors are way better with it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I should like it because then it's an ultimate challenge. But it also moves the oil a lot.
Yeah.
And it kind of puts you in a spot where if it's a high rev guy throwing the urethane, then they move the oil a lot more than the low rev guy.
Yeah.
And then if you're really good like Belmo, you can use that as an advantage.
Yeah.
Like you can be hard to beat if you know what the oil's doing. If you move the oil more than your opponent.
Makes sense.
So I bowled Belmo one time at the Masters. Actually, I bowled Belmo twice.
Yeah.
I bowled him once on television for the Chameleon Championship, and he threw urethane the whole time. He threw it in the 8 minutes of practice, 8 shots of practice that he had before the match.
Oh.
And I was thinking, all right, it's urethane. Let's see. I must have bowled him at the Masters earlier that year. I apologize.
Yeah.
It was, we bowled the show first.
Okay.
And in 2020. And he made the lanes hook like crazy with urethane. I couldn't believe it. I don't know if it was like the lights
Oh, yeah.
or what, but I was expecting the lanes not to break down a whole lot, and he made them break down a lot.
Oh, interesting.
It was really interesting.
Yeah.
And so I missed a couple moves left, and anyway, later on the next year, we bowled the Masters. We bowled at the stadium, and I bowl him in a match, and he's throwing urethane again, and he made them as slick. And I was expecting, all right, he's not going to make them slick. He made them hook last time I bowled him, so it's not going to be that bad. And they got so slick.
Oh, man. So you couldn't even predict it.
So, yeah, he's just hard to beat.
Yeah. That's interesting. Well, and you talk about it, too. It's like, these kids, right, if they want to bowl on tour, it's a whole different world out there.
Oh, my goodness.
They have no idea, right?
Yeah.
I think they do.
Yeah.
Or you think you do, or
You
whatever.
think you do, yeah. And I thought the same thing. In college, I'm like, oh, I can go 240 over on a pattern. They're bowling 8-game blocks. That's 230 average. I'm doing that in college.
Right.
But you just you forget the transition.
Right.
There's just so much of it. And then you have ball reps. So if you go out there and you're not super familiar with the ball reps, that could be a disadvantage as well if you're new.
Yeah.
And you have to learn that relationship.
Yeah.
But now these kids, they know the ball reps, and the ball reps know them. So it's much easier. The ball reps can go, oh, that's Landon Jordan. He's a rookie. I'm gonna,
Right. Yeah.
And now they're on staff a lot earlier in their careers too.
Yeah.
And so that aspect's that helps a lot.
Well, and it's it's another. There's just so many youth bowling opportunities, right? Like there's more opportunities to see the kids for the reps because Jim Callahan every year he lives in Vegas. He can go to team trials every year.
Yep.
So he can see, oh, here's the next wave of kids that either are going to college, in college, want to go on tour. He can eyeball it. So it is, if you have a youth bowler, get them in tournaments. If they want to bowl on tour, it's we don't know them. We don't know them until we see them, right?
Yeah, and it's also there's levels to competition. There's the type of competition where you want to get better.
Right.
Yeah, you have this dream of being the best, yeah, you love the camaraderie that you have out on tour with your friends or whatever, but then there's also some people that are literally trying to feed their families.
Yes.
And it's like cutthroat. It's like, no. This is as serious as it can get.
Well, right.
And that's a tense atmosphere.
Yeah, well, and I think what's interesting about what you just said, and I talk to the kids, and parents, I think, talk to their kids about this too, and parents feel it more than the kids, because when you're a kid, it's so easy to just like, oh, I'm just bowling, right? Swing's not tight at all. Your parents are funding it. You're getting scholarship money to pay for college or you know, hopefully college or whatever you want to do next. But when you go out on tour, all of a sudden you're paying for it.
Yeah.
Your swing gets a little tighter when the money's coming out of your pocket, especially if it's not
you're
going well, right?
You're thinking about staying in like some cheaper hotels, and then you don't sleep as well, and
Right.
you're traveling a lot.
Yeah.
Well, especially like you don't travel for a while, and then you travel every day for 3 months.
Yeah.
And you know, and if it's not going well, it could be miserable.
Yeah.
You know, just
right.
if you don't, if you're not like, I don't know, doing a little podcast or trying to build something, if you're just doing the bowling, man, it's tough. It's really tough.
Yeah, and I think that's good for, it's as much as it's probably hard to talk about sometimes for you guys.
Very much so.
Yeah, I think it's so important for people to hear it. Like, you know, yeah, it's hard out there. And I think it makes us, like, when we're watching, I just watched your guys' vlog again because I was looking for some vlogs to send to the kids when Kyle was bowling on TV for his title. And I think it makes it sweeter, too, like, when things like that happen. Like, that video was so awesome.
Exactly.
That you guys did. Like, it was so...
Is it the cheetah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one was fantastic.
I mean, when we started the channel, we thought that day was going to come. You know, at some point in time, and his dad was there.
Yeah.
I got his dad in the video, and like that was Flanagan's idea. He goes, you need to get Kyle's dad like an actual interview before his match or something.
Yeah.
And I like we're gonna be able to go back and look at that. And
Forever,
yeah,
right?
Forever.
Yeah, like it's so great.
Yeah, that was a long time in the making.
Yeah.
Just a day like that.
Yeah, and yours is coming too.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I got to do the PTQs this year though.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
It's rough.
Yeah. Well, that'll be good content.
It gives us an extra day of videos.
Let's look at the positives, right? It's really good content. You get more videos. You will get a lot more emotion from Brad Miller.
Oh, yeah. and then maybe I can get it done and then show that it's possible to get it done.
Right. That's what I was, yeah, like you could build the whole, like, from PTQ to TV show.
Rags to rich.
Ooh, that's a great, that would get so many
That's good.
views. That's great. We'll look at the positives.
Yeah, I'm going to try hard. But on the days that I don't make it, I guess, because they're getting 120 people. There's a waiting list for them, and then sometimes you only take like 10 or 15 or something like that.
PTQs are brutal.
And these guys are good that bowl these PTQs.
Yeah, one of my good friends, like I grew up with, SYC Bait, right?
Yeah.
He bowled all the PTQs last year. It is brutal.
Brutal.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
brutal.
Yeah.
So if I don't make them through it, then I can spend the whole next couple days, the week, however long Kyle goes, and just focus on videos, which I've kind of had in the back of my head because for some reason I get out there and it just kind of drives me nuts that there's no player interviews. There's there's content that could be made.
Right.
And so I wouldn't mind having the day to be able to do some fun stuff.
Yeah.
So.
Well, you're gonna be bowling. Don't worry.
I'm gonna be bowling.
You got this.
I'm gonna win the first event out and say, "Yep, look at me."
Stephanie Alexander says there definitely should be more spots in PTQs.
Yeah, well, there's only so many spots in the tournaments.
Yeah, there are. And only, this is the thing that we tell kids all the time, too. Like, this weekend, we're lucky to be at a 60-lane bowling center.
Yeah, you
There
guys
are
struggle with it.
Just not 60-lane bowling centers all over the country.
No.
I mean, right now, everyone wants us to go to the Pacific Northwest. The biggest bowling center there is 40 lanes. You can't do that. I mean, it's like we're already locking kids out most of the time. Like, if we can get into, like, actually, the National Bowling Stadium we're going to next month, that event is not full yet. So that one's a big bowling center, right? You got 70 plus lanes. Like,
yeah.
there's not a bowling stadium in every state.
I know.
So, I mean, Junior Gold faces it too. Like, you have all these kids that want to bowl, and there's just not enough lane beds in the U.S. anymore.
There's
like,
only so many cities Junior Gold can go to.
They've completely, it's amazing. So, well, Brad, we have finished game 2. If you want to hang out.
Yeah, I'm cool. Do we have any standings?
They're on. You have a phone? Bowlmetrics.com. I'll show you how to get there. Well, and this is a good time to bring up. The scores are on bowlmetrics.com. I'm going to have Kyle jump in this next game.
Okay.
And you guys can talk, and then I might keep Kyle the next game. We'll just do kind of a rotation all day for the fans at home.
Bowlmetrics.
Yeah, with an X.
With an X.
Yep.
Okay. .com. Now, who runs this? Who runs Bowlmetrics?
Ted Fossum from Georgia is the creator of Bowlmetrics. It's here. I'll send you the link. And he had a youth bowler, and he just was like, "There's got to be a better way to do these scores," and there is. Looks like we have no Wi-Fi, or I'm not on the internet or something. I don't know what's going on here. Technology, folks.
Mm-hmm.
It's great, isn't it? All right, here we go. Storm Youth Championship. Yeah, so Bowlmetrics, Ted runs this program, and any tournament can be part of it. And what's really cool is these kids get profiles. So.
Oh, nice. They track their stats.
Yeah, so you like back in the day when you're going to college, you had to build your own resume. Now they just print off a Bowlmetrics profile, and they've got it. So pretty easy.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we will be right back. They're going to change lanes, and I'm going to find Kyle, and I'll leave you with Brad and Kyle next game. Pretty fun.
Howdy, 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 howdy.
We are back.
For Game 3.
How's it
Game
going,
3.
SYC fans, family? How we doing?
Okay, Blair, do we only have this pair? Is this the pair in front of us? Okay, gotcha. Yep,
Brad,
so
how you doing this morning?
I'm great. I'm trying to look up scores. I'm trying to see how low the scores actually are. We're going to bullmetrics.com if you haven't done that.
So is that where fans can tune in to what's going on, look at the scores on
Look at the score.
bullmetric.com?
Bullmetrics, yep.
Bullmetric.com. Head over there.
Blair was just telling me about them. She just sent me a new link. I'm going to try and get some scores for you guys. We're on the Wi-Fi, so that's good. My phone didn't charge again, so I have 17%. That's actually pretty good. That's a lot. I don't know. I'm trying to find scores, and nothing's working.
Well, I can tell you guys that are tuning in and watching these this bowling today that this pattern looks very difficult. They're bowling on a short 35-foot pattern. It's very tight to the right. Any of you bowlers that bowl on sport shots, short patterns know that when you're bowling on something that's shorter and that gutter doesn't hook very freely, it can make things tough. So they put something challenging out here. It's going to take a lot of shot making. And I think the scores are going to reflect it. I've seen, I talked to a couple kids where they had a good game, maybe started out with like a 230, 220, and then they followed it up with a 150 or 140. So
Yeah, that's going to happen.
they're in grind mode today, which is good. Do we have a comment section that we can look at?
Yeah, so right here. That's the
Oh,
comment
okay.
section. Brian Hirsch says, "Sup, Brad and Kyle."
How we doing?
Morning, Regina. Just give me... Here we go. U18 boys.
Got Madeline with a good shot with the gem. Bringing it home. Starting with an early double. That is always a good feeling.
Wow, so McCollin Gagne shot 289 his first game.
289. Dang. Wow. That's a bunch.
And there are currently 14 people plus after game 1 in the U18 boys out of 80.
Yep. That's and that's after 1.
It's
correct?
after 1, yeah.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see what that is after 2 because they are difficult. But tell you what, guys, we don't get to come out and watch the youth bowling a whole lot with doing a lot of bowling ourselves. But being able to get into this environment today and see how good these young youth bowlers are, it's amazing. It's crazy how with every generation it seems like they just get better and better.
I know. And Gianna Brandolino is leading the U18 girls. She's -9. After 2. Oh, that's updated after 2.
It's after 2.
Nice.
So we have no plus women after 2.
No plus women.
Which
and Gianna's the lady who has 10 of these titles, and she's chasing Jillian.
Oh,
so she's
okay.
off to a good start.
Good for her. So you could say the front runner is in the lead, huh?
Front runners in the lead.
I guess if you have that many titles, she's got to be one of the front runners, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, just think about how good Jillian Martin is.
Yeah.
And Gianna's running her down. All right, so we are seeing the women for the first time. They started on the high end. They bowled 2 games on the high end, and then they hopped down here to the low end.
Brad, you have some experience bowling in the center. What are some of the characteristics of this bowling alley that you've noticed?
It's a great question. Because the only time I've bowled in it is the 2015 Masters. I mean, I know the service hooks. I mean, it's pretty normal, local bowling alley that gets a lot of play. But I heard the lanes were leveled. Then they redid the bar completely, so they've definitely put a lot of money into the center, which is great.
You know what I love about this center?
And they have the same backdrops, exact same backdrops when we were here.
That's what I was going to say, the old AMF backdrops. I love them. I hope they never get rid of them. Just gives that old bowling alley, that old just historical feel to a center. None of this, none of all these bright lights and crazy designs, just a little retro, and I like it.
Just the old red and brown.
Yeah, man. It's cool. It's a good feel here. They also just redid the bar at Ashwaubenon.
Yep.
Is that
That's exactly how you say it. You did it great.
Ashwaubenon?
Yep.
You kind of have to say it fast.
I don't.
I feel like if I slowly enunciate that word,
Ashwaubenon.
it's harder for me. I go Ashwaubenon. Like, I almost got to make fun of the saying, and it comes out correctly.
You botched it in our little segment we did yesterday.
Oh yeah. Well, that's when I first learned it.
Yep.
I didn't quite get the dialect in of the Ashwaubenon, but and I'm gonna laugh when I'm saying it wrong still. But they just redid the bar here too, making a lot of cool renovations. They did that a couple years ago, and it looks awesome. Should be a great place to come and bowl a tournament, hang out. So
Yeah, if you're up north, great people up here.
old school. We got a question, Mr. Miller. Do you remember having to sequentially bowl Belmo, Tackett, and Simonson? Says you better, because I've been watching the PBA since 1979, and that was the toughest lineup ever.
Yeah, I remember it like it was yesterday. Simon was mad at me because I was taking way too long.
Yep, that is
I had Bobby Jekyll was running the show, and this was like one of my first single shows. I don't know if I bowled on Oklahoma first. I think I did, actually. But anyway, I wasn't. We bowled a one-game bowling, and I shot like 170, finished fourth. And then bowled Simo. But Simo was mad my whole game against him because he was leading. It was like a two-game thing, and he bowled the highest game the first game and had like the front four, and then went like open the last three frames. Maybe it was just one game, but he went open the last couple frames for Belmo and EJ to pass him. So when he was bowling me, he was just mad, and I would be too, because those 2 frames costed him quite a bit of money.
hey, it's a little gamesmanship.
And then I was taking too long and having too many shot clocks. And so on the break, Simonson went up to the desk and told them, like, hey, are you going to do anything about this? This guy's taking forever.
It's funny how there's turf war is not the not the correct way to put it, but there's like and it's not really a rivalry, but there's definitely some animosity between the fastest guys on tour and the slowest guys on tour.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, there's a lot of guys that fall into the middle of it, but you always see the fast. Simo's one of the fast guys. Stu Williams is one of the fast guys. EJ is a really fast bowler.
So I'm making Simo mad without slow him going. I don't even know it. Even when he's yelling at the people in the desk to do something about it, I still don't really even know that's what he's talking about. So he ends up leaving a 9-pin in the 10th for me to win. And then, of course, the next match is EJ, who's the fastest bowler on tour. Like, if you're slow, you do not want to bowl around EJ because he will make you –
he's just going to death stare you the entire time.
He will make you feel very slow. And then I bowl, like, my best game ever against him, trip of 4 to the last shot to beat him. And he kind of bowled a better game. I would give it to him. He threw probably 1 or 2 better shots than I did.
We could say that now.
But I had a game on the pair. I kind of knew what the pair was doing. So, and then the next game was Belmo, and I just missed a move against Belmo. I could have beat him. And his first shot in the 10th, Belmo's first shot in the 10th, he needed a mark. It was not a good shot. He can claim whatever he wants. It was.
Oh, I'm sure if you ask him, he aced it. It was the greatest shot he's ever thrown.
It was a 2-4-8-10 waiting to happen, and he kind of somewhat crumbles the bucket. But yeah, that was cool. That was an amazing experience.
You know, as they say, Belmo is the luckiest bowler alive.
Oh yeah,
and he will agree to that.
No way. He claims opposite.
I'm sure he's gonna watch. Someone's gonna clip that, show it to him, and he's gonna agree. He is the luckiest bowler alive. I've never seen a guy get more breaks than him. It's slightly unbelievable.
It is.
At least 22 of those 20 million titles he has is kind of 80% luck.
He can't split. I will give him credit though. I will give him credit. He makes a lot of splits. Him and Simo, for some reason, even
and
when
EJ makes a lot too.
Even when they randomly do get unlucky and split once a round, they make it.
Yeah, you know, we talk about those guys as they just throw a ton of strikes, but I know they came out with a stat that showed like the spare percentages, and those guys, even though they do throw probably the most strikes, they also pick the most spares.
Yeah, you don't.
They're the top spare shooters as well. So,
like 210, if you're on tour and you watch your opponent leave a 210, unless they're fried, unless they're in the bottom of the pack, unless they're bowling bad, they're probably going to make it. It's not a hard spare for a lot of people.
Especially when you get it a little dialed in.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like making a 10-pin. It's like,
Yeah.
all right, I just got to hit this spot. And especially when we're bowling a lot, Frankie kind of did that. I bowled a regional a couple weekends ago, qualified second, and then came in Sunday. Struggled the first 5 or 6 games, and I watched Frankie do that. He split 3 or 4 times. He just makes them. And when you're competing against guys and you watch your opponent split, you're like, yeah. And then they make it, and you're like, gosh. And then they keep making it.
Well, we have a couple potential big game alerts. I probably just threw the black cloud out there, but we have Caitlin and Alexandra.
They're going to do it.
Both with the front 4 on this featured pair, 7 and 8.
We're going to see something special.
4-baggers are a bit of a rarity.
That was a great shot by Olivia. See, Olivia's playing the lanes right. She's out to the right, throwing urethane.
Oh, yeah, she's doing things. She listened to our little spiel yesterday.
Low rev rate with a urethane. Brad, if you win the Masters earlier in the year, fully exempt, easy. I know. I had Simon on the ropes, had him in my hands. I had ball in hand, and then the next game, Norm has ball in hand, and Simon wins. Tough guy to beat.
Tell you what, Madeline throws. I really like the way Madeline here throws the bowling ball. She's solid. But let's look at Caitlin here on lane 8 with the front 4. Oh, she's playing a little inside. Can she get a love tap? Oh, yep. There's the cloud. Never fails. Now this is gonna be a tough spare.
She's not ecstatic.
The 2-8 on a short pattern where it doesn't hook freely to the left. It's not the spare you're wanting to shoot at least not for me. We got Brianna up here on lane 7.
Playing a little bit farther left.
Looks like she is playing a little further left.
A little more on the inside of the
On
lane.
the inside. Can we get the whole dead flush? Absolutely packs it. She says short pattern play to the right. I don't think so.
Nerves of steel.
Plastic
Wow,
at it.
wow. That was a good attempt of plastic.
Well, you can tell that it's a short pattern because even the plastic hook there.
Yeah, Blair asked me if I like urethane. I'm like, I don't mind it.
And
I just
what did
can't
you
beat
have to
anybody
say
when
to
they're
that?
throwing it.
He's like, it helps me, but it also helps everybody else.
Yeah.
We got Olivia up here. She threw a great shot on lane 8. Throwing the purple hammer. Can we get the hole? No, we can't. A little high.
All right, easy spare.
That's what it's about here, leaving those makeables. I just don't see anyone absolutely crushing it, but great
No.
shot at Cecilia on lane 8. Looks like she was throwing, what was she throwing there?
Who, Olivia?
What is that ball? Why am I blanking on that ball? Reality. She's throwing a reality. All right, we have Alexandra.
Here we go, from
Front
4.
4. Lane 8. Can she do it? Oh,
Come on.
she's going to need some help.
Come
Let's
on.
go, Brooklyn.
Come on.
Oh,
Way to say something, Kyle.
that's my bad.
Unbelievable.
You know, it's a tough job as an announcer. You can't believe in the cloud. Even though I do believe in the cloud, you can't believe in it. Does that make sense?
You can't believe it.
I mean, if you were announcing on TV and someone had the front 11, are you going to say the words 300?
Well, it's only a cloud when it works. If someone strikes out and shoots 300, there's no such
Yeah,
thing.
but I feel like it just seems like it always works. Oh, we need love.
All right.
I may have clouded the first one, but the spare shots are on them.
Are the devil.
The spare shots are on them, man. I can't do anything about that.
All right, so Caitlin's back up here.
We need a good rebound here, but
Got a southpaw. Brace in hand.
oh, that was clean.
That was clean. All right.
Man, she throws a good ball.
She does.
How many people do we have watching? Is there a way to track that number?
No.
Guys that are watching, feel free to ask some questions. Throw some stuff in the comments. Let's spice up this conversation a little bit. We only have one pair to kind of cover here, so.
Would you, do you think it was a mistake to not wear a hoodie?
or some kind of long sleeves?
Well, it's I think there's a 10-degree difference between the low end and the high end.
Is it really? High end's pretty warm?
High end's
Oh,
warm,
that's
so.
The first thing people told me said that it was extremely warm in here. I'm like, really? I'm freezing.
A hoodie
Ooh, with the spare. Bold strategy to hook at it.
Hoodie would have been a decent option, not gonna lie.
Yep.
Especially when you're just sitting here.
Oh, yeah.
It's a spectator effect. You're always cold. When you're bowling, you're warm.
Reality.
Get there. Come on, with the bucket.
It's the right ball, too.
All right, we got Brianna with a couple opens, but she's working on a strike here. Double would be very nice.
She aced it
We're gonna
last
need
time.
that. We're
That's
gonna need
gonna
that
be
to
good.
hold. Oh, very close. Very close.
Is that a phase 5? Looks like a phase 5.
It's a phase 5 or maybe throwing it way back to the Ordnance C4 days.
Really?
Definitely
I did not think you were going
Ordnance
there.
C4. But
I was thinking trend.
oh, that would make more sense. But in reality, it's a phase 5.
Does the phase 5 and the trend have the exact same color scheme? I feel like it does.
They're not that much different. I'll tell you that.
Very close.
Yep, we are in the 6th frame of the 3rd game here. There were no young ladies that were plus. A few guys that were plus. The
Wonder
score's
the-
difficult.
That should be close.
Get there.
Oh, wow. That did not hook.
Are we taking in a Packer game tonight while in town? We are not.
Some people are.
We thought about it. It really just had to do poor planning on our part. And I kind of assumed, I feel like Packer fans are so crazy and die hard that I just kind of assumed it would be really difficult to get tickets. But it would have been cool to be able to go to a game. But we're also going to be here pretty late, so.
Yeah, instead, Colin and I have to go to dinner in a casino, which is stupid because then we're going to lose $20 in a slot.
So, and by 20, Brad means 200. Because I don't know if we've ever only lost 20.
It starts with 20.
Yeah, you're a product of your environment. And yeah, so it's unfortunate for us that we're going to have to go to the casino. And if you're there, you have to play a little bit.
You got to corp some money in a slot machine, and then we never leave when we're up.
Guys, it is unbelievable, our bad luck. But
Okay, so U18 girls.
what pattern are they on? They're on a 35-foot short pattern. Looks like we got 28 mils of oil. I do not know what the what type of oil they're using. But we were instructed by JJ that this pattern is going to play really tight, tight to the right. There's not going to be a lot of free hook. And JJ is kind of a wizard because he designed the pattern to do that, and that is exactly what it did. It's harder to do that than you think. You really have to know what you're doing when you're designing an oil pattern. But JJ is one of the best in the biz. He created this pattern to cause torment to these young bowlers, and that's what he's doing.
And we're watching like a bunch of people go Brooklyn and miss the head pin left. Like when we say it's tight, it's kind of hard to make a 35-foot pattern and call it tight and make sense. But what we mean is it's still a really short pattern. There's still a ton of hook. The ball, you have a hard time controlling it. So if it's a little slow or a little left, there's no control and it overhooks. And then if you seem to get it on line just a little bit, that's where the slickness comes in, and your ball doesn't want to read, and you still don't have control that way either.
Yeah, when you play on a short pattern, you're trying to utilize the outside part of the lane, outside of 7 and out. Well, when you bowl on something like this and 7 and out doesn't just hook very freely out there, even though that is pretty much where you have to play, you kind of can put yourself in what we like to call a phone booth, where you get in this position where you feel like when you get it to the right, it doesn't hook, and then it's still only 35 feet, so when you miss left, it overhooks. So generally on something like this, you really want to try to play the lanes a little more front to back. You can't just free-wheelie swing it to the right. You want to try to get that ball into a roll early, keep your angles in front of you, and just kind of control that pocket as much as you can. But you'll see a lot of kids here where maybe they're a little bit more speed dominant. You know, young kids just like to, especially the men, like to throw it through the roof. So when you do that, it's really easy to allow the ball to miss the break point
Yeah.
front to back, doesn't get into a roll. And that's why, even though it's 35 feet, you'll see guys missing the head pin to the right. And it can be difficult.
So I just watched, is it Gianna?
Oh, get the hit.
Yeah, Gianna. I just watched Gianna throw a shot. She's on 1 and 2. We're behind 7 and 8. So I only saw the side view. And I get it. I understand.
Oh, really?
10 titles.
I haven't seen her throw a shot yet.
Yep. All I did was I saw her release the ball, and that's it. That's all you need.
You're like, okay, yeah, that's her.
Solid
That's
as a
her.
rock.
Solid as a rock, yep.
At the line.
You know, we preach a lot, we coach a lot in bowling, but I tell you what, you can always notice a person that can play in a bowler by how still and how stable and solid at the foul line. You know, it's one of those redundancies that you hear all the time and people tell you, but it's the overall truth. We met a young two-hander yesterday that won the U18 division for the men at Junior Gold, and he threw a shot, two-hander, solid as can be at the line. And you're like, yep.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even care how you get there. I mean, one-handed, two-handed, high backswing, low backswing. You can do a 360 in there. I don't care. If you're a rock solid at the line every time, you're gonna be pretty good.
You know, we overcomplicate this game of bowling. There's a lot of variables that go into it, with bowling balls and how to throw it and targeting and where to play and RG is different. You know, you name it. There's a variable that you can dig into. But at the end of the day, it's about repeating shots. It's about consistency, and you got to be solid at the line to be able to do that.
So this says lanes 9 and 10 have Trey, who won the PBA LBC for $25,000. Has that been aired? No, they're filming it. Oh, so he must have just been the first place. Yes, I talked to him yesterday. Yeah. Trey. Yeah, he said he's going to bowl in the PBA LBC show coming up. And he's from up here as well.
So let's dig into these comments a little bit, shall we?
Talk about what the next steps would be for some youth bowlers to make it to the collegiate level. Jared Schmidt. Talk about what the next steps would be for some youth bowlers to make it to the collegiate level. So we're talking about bowling skill, not how to find a college.
Well, you got to show up to tournaments like this.
Just bowl everything.
You got to bowl everything. You
Yeah.
got to put yourself in the competitive environment as much as you can and push yourself.
And these are the same people that they're going to compete against in college. So, as long as they keep doing what they're doing out here, if they're showing up to tournaments, they're going to be familiar. I mean,
there's really not a secret to it.
No.
You got to work hard.
You just got to get around, and then when you go to college, you're going to be around better bowlers.
If you want to be a collegiate bowler, if you want to be the best, if you want to do all that, you have to put in an insane amount of work, and that work will be reflective on your performances and your preparation.
And it never stops.
It never stops. There's always going to be these someone on your tail.
Yeah.
It's always the case. We're looking out here, and I can see plenty of players that if I continue to bowl on the tour, I'm going to see them in a couple of years.
Yeah, I think they're already better than us.
I wasn't going to admit that live on the broadcast, but I might be struggling right now.
I mean.
But, yeah, there's no secret. You got to get in the bowling alley. You got to bowl every day. You got to practice. You got to bowl tournaments. And you got to work diligently on your game. The one thing we try to install in the kids is it is about the amount of practice you do, and that's really important, but it's the quality of practice you put in and work. And as long as you're trying to achieve goals and you're not just in there throwing shots, you're really getting into the weeds and working on your game, then it's going to show in your progress. And then that's the stuff that needs to translate to the collegiate level.
Yeah. That was a great shot, by the way, by Caitlin right there in the ninth frame. Coming off a bad stretch of frames.
Yeah, she had a couple.
Herself up.
Yeah, she had the old goose egg spare. So rebounding from that didn't hurt her none. She might as well just stoned an A-pin,
So I was a little premature on the standings. The leader in the girls after 2 is Emma Yoder. She's -1. So she's pretty much right at par.
Close.
And I don't know. Oh, yep, she's to our left. She's so we'll see her throw a shot here in a second on the left side of the screen.
What was her last name?
Yoder.
Yoder.
And she's got a think, a decent game going on. And then she's on the same pair as Abigail Starkey, who's in second.
Oh, yeah.
So
Emma Yoder, clean through 5 and then working on a turkey. So
yeah.
she has 241 off the sheet.
So she's -1. Abigail Starkey on the same pair. We'll see her bowl her 10th frame over here on the left side of the screen. She's in second. And she's got an okay game going, but Gianna down there has a 5-bagger going
that's
into
Gianna?
the 10th frame.
Oh, that's
No,
her
Gianna's up on lane 2 right now.
on lane 2.
And she's got a 5-bagger going into the 10th frame. So between those 3 girls, they're the top 3. And then you have J.C. Smith at -15, and then 5th is Emily Kringle at -42. So the top 4 have kind of separated themselves a little bit.
We also have Abigail Starkey on
Yeah, we
lane
met her-
5 here.
Yep, left side of the screen. We met her at Junior Gold.
Miss Gianna throw another shot, but she struck. So looks like she can punch. What a game. She just dug deep. She has a 6-bagger. Threw the first one in the 10th. Can shoot 246.
240.
Early open, couple spares. Dug deep. Made some shots. We have Emma Yoder here on lane 6, who is your current tournament leader for the women. She'll hit the 7-pin in the 9th frame. Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. I just saw Gianna throw a shot. Yeah. I can see that.
Yep. And then you got Bella Castillo coming up through the ranks. She's probably going to be the person to beat here soon.
Ooh, Emma with the untimely open in the 9th frame, missing that 7-pin, but still can shoot a good game here. 2-0. 208 if she can double. Strike out in the 10th. That is plenty good score going on right now.
Oh, yeah.
The scores are low.
All right, come on, hook. See right there with Olivia Shaw. She just got that a little bit to the right. I mean, it doesn't take much. All right, so on the boys' side, hey, Trey. I don't know. You're going to see him deliver the shot over on the right side of the screen. He is the leader of the boys' side. 56 over.
Yep, Trey is going to be throwing a shot here on lane 9.
He
56 over. He has 161 in the 8th. Working on a spare. He can strike out for 211. A strike here is great. Puts him in pretty much in 200s. He's throwing a purple hammer. He got a little wide. Mainly he's a 10-pin. I tell you what, he's going to have – this kid's a good bowler. I can already tell. He's got a good look on this short pattern. He's getting that ball to recover from the right a little bit more than a lot of people are, which is going to give him a little bit more miss room.
I think he's standing a little farther right, too.
It looks like it. He's just allowing that ball to really pick up in a good spot when we talk about that front-to-back portion, which is it's going to create a lot of room.
Big shot for Caitlin here. A little off balance. Get through.
Get there.
Lucky. All right.
That's okay.
Easy spare. Nice 2-0 game.
Just pick it up. Got Trey with the spare attempt on the 10-pin.
All right.
Picks it up nicely.
He's going to shoot 2-0.
2-0. That'll do.
Yeah, he's playing him right. Generally when, they put out a pattern like this that's kind of slick to the right where you're supposed to be playing, you still got to figure out a way to play there. I mean, sometimes you got to just get your feet all the way right. Sometimes you got to throw it slow. Oh, just hooked by.
Yeah, she's going to be kicking herself on this game after that kind of start. We got Madeline with the Brooklyn in the fill.
Go. Good shot
So we
there
are
by Trey.
finishing up Game 3 here of the Storm Youth Championships here in Green Bay, Wisconsin. They're difficult. They're bowling on the short oil pattern. They're tough. Spares are coming at a premium. Doubles are heavily encouraged, but hard to obtain.
Yes, they are. Let alone 5 and 6 baggers.
Yeah, I don't. Gianna is actually the only person I've seen with more than 4 strikes in a row, and there's not many of those either. Not a lot of doubles. When you're bowling on something like this, not only do you you have to be playing the correct part of the lane, and you have to have a decent look and optimize your chances that way, you also have to repeat the shot. And the all right, nice
There you
shot
go.
from Brianna.
Good finish.
Good double. That's what you want to see, but you got to put all those things together. If you're playing the wrong part of the lane, you have the wrong idea, even if you're repeating shots, your margin of error is going to be so small that your misses are going to seem like they're just bigger than what they are. So they're tough. Rebecca says, can you talk a little bit about the importance, character, attitude, sportsmanship on the lanes and off, such as important ingredients when aspiring to be a pro? Yeah, you know, something, the biggest thing that I guess growing up that I was always told is that you never know who's watching. My parents tried to instill that on me. Growing up, I was definitely a hothead. I had to learn that lesson.
We still are.
And still are at times.
Everybody is.
Everyone has that in them.
Yeah.
Some people just hide it more than others. But hide's not a good word.
No,
I would say they're more disciplined.
Yeah,
I
they
like
just
the word
they
discipline.
control the, you know, the outward emotion.
Yeah,
They
it's
keep it internal.
Yeah, they're disciplined in handling that emotion, but you never know who's watching. And I can speak firsthand that as a kid, you might not understand what that means or understand the importance of that, but we have seen it firsthand with people's attitudes, especially on tour and in the collegiate levels, how their attitude has either gained them opportunity and, more importantly, lost them opportunity.
Oh, yeah.
Because of their antics on the lanes and all that. So it's really easy to get mad and frustrated, but if you want to go somewhere in this sport, if you want to, you know, get exposure, just be a great person within the industry, you got to have a good attitude, because you never know where it's going to take you. But you do know where a bad attitude is going to take you, and that's nowhere. So got to keep a good attitude no matter win, lose, or draw. It's hard in that lose part, though.
Yeah. Yeah, and if you love it, you know, if you really want to be a pro, then you'll put in the work necessary, even if it takes you till you're 27, 28, 30. You know.
And all you got to do is
there.
realize that your negative attitude, you getting mad and kind of putting yourself out of it, cost you losing the tournament, because maybe you weren't as far off as you thought and you got mad. Once you do that a couple times, you got to look yourself in the mirror and say, okay, if I just kept it together there, maybe I pick that spare, maybe I throw that extra strike, maybe I do what it needed to take to make the cut. But you got to keep it. You have to have a good attitude.
Yeah. All right, so that wraps up Game 3. We're going to take a break. We're going to send you into Game 4 with Blair and Kyle, and we're going to wrap things up after Game 5.
All right.
He could have paused the break for just a second.
I literally choked.
Oh, welcome back. Okay.
All right, we're back. Ironically, I was drinking water in that entire break. All right, so we're back. Hello, everyone. Back from the SYC, as promised. Kyle's here.
How
I'm
we
here.
doing?
Yeah. So I watched that game, and it looks hard.
They look very difficult. We were talking about that, and when me and Brad were just discussing the last game. When you have a short pattern like this and they don't hook freely to the right, it makes things very difficult. We have what we got here?
Hold
we
on,
got
I
a
need to-
we got a friend in the booth.
I need to make this bigger.
So
What's his name? Okay, this is Sam.
is it a llama?
It is a llama.
It's a llama.
So Gianna Brandolino just competed for Team USA.
Okay.
This is our Sam the llama who
Sam the
came
llama.
back from Team USA. So he's going to hang out with us. He's so soft. You have to feel him.
Oh wow.
Like, it's so soft.
Sam, is this the good luck charm? Did it
Real
bring,
fur.
how many?
Real fur.
Did Sam bring back some gold medals?
How many gold medals, Gianna? How many gold medals? 1 gold medal.
So Sam has a gold medal
Sam does. And 1 bronze.
and 1 bronze.
Yeah. And real fur.
Real fur.
It's really soft, though.
It is
I don't
very
know.
soft.
Yeah. So anyway, Sam's going to hang out with us. So Team USA, we have a Team USA member on our pair this time.
I guess-
Also, 10-time titleist, Miss Gianna. She's
Yeah.
the yellow banner. Ooh,
I have,
Sam fell over.
I'm now aware of Gianna.
Yeah.
I was not aware, and we were watching her down at 1 and 2. I'm glad she's coming down here so we can get a better look. But after watching her throw a couple shots, you can see why she has 10 titles. There's
Yeah.
no guess there.
Oh yeah, she works pretty hard.
Good for her.
Yeah, it's amazing. So Gianna will be stepping up here on lane 7, and then we have Jacqueline Poro, Paige Shankland, Elizabeth Jones, Angela. The screen just changed as I was reading off the date. Angela Steinke and Teresa Dufferin.
Dufferin. I
Dufferin.
think that's an R.
I may have butchered
Dufferin.
some names, so I apologize if I did. But yeah, this llama is awesome.
Yeah, in case you didn't know, the current mascot of Junior Team USA is a llama.
Yeah, right. With a little bow tie.
Yeah, you got to have the red, white, and blue as
Yeah.
the bow tie.
Yeah. Anyway, he's rooting on. Julie donated it. Julie Brandolino donated it to live stream booth while Gianna's here. So I asked earlier. I was like, "Can that come in the booth?" And she's like, "Yeah, absolutely." So here we have.
So you have Gianna stepping up on lane 7 here. She just she mustered up about the back 6 for I believe 230 last game.
She
so
did, yeah. And we're still striking.
Yep.
Spare strike. So
Yeah, that's solid right there.
doesn't suck.
It does not. it does
I
not.
mean,
I'm
it's
jealous.
really hard out there. I can't describe it. I'm watching these balls, and it's like the gutter doesn't play, which is tricky.
Yeah, you can't really play outside of there unless you have a little bit of a higher rev rate to maybe get the ball to wrinkle, but even then you got to be good. So you can see Gianna is kind of utilizing. It looked like that one she was around 12 to 6, 7. So, she's probably thinking in her head that outside of 5 is my gutter. 5 is kind of my gutter now. So I'm going to try to keep the ball a little bit in so I at least get something to hook. But and they should. The lanes are going to be transitioning here. There's going to be a little bit more carry down in the middle part of the lane. It's going to create a little bit of hold. So those first couple games where the ball might have been sparking when you miss left, I would expect them to start developing a touch more miss room left so they can they'll create a little bit of hold, allow the ball to kind of get to the pocket a touch easier. And when I say a touch easier, I'm not saying it's easy by any means.
Yeah.
Just gives them a little more room.
Yeah. All right, so we're seeing Miss Angela step up. Cool jersey. I am Bowling's the official merchandiser, the SYC. They do a good job giving the kids every design they can think of so that they can show off their style. Ah, good shot.
Nice shot.
Really nice shot.
Yeah, I think I got to step up my jersey game. You can see here, I go with the plain colors.
Easy to match the pants, though. I mean,
It's so easy, and that's why I do it. I don't want to think about it.
Yeah.
I just get jerseys. I have gray and black. And when I'm not a creative person, so when it comes to jersey creation time,
It's hard.
I just go, you know what? Just give me solid colors. It makes the logos pop. It works for me.
Yeah.
I'm a simple guy.
Maybe you can have some of the kids help you.
That's what we should do.
Yeah.
We should have. Although I'm a little afraid to open the reins to have kids design
True.
jerseys for me. You know.
True.
Sometimes
yeah,
there's
careful what you ask for.
Sometimes there's good intentions and sometimes there's not.
Yeah.
So.
I agree with that.
But maybe we should. That'd be something.
You
fun
could
to
totally do that on the channel. Like,
we
all
should.
right, let's see what.
You guys get to design a jersey for us.
And you could like show all of the submissions and talk about them and be like, yeah, this
we
was a
should
great
put it up
submission.
for a vote.
Yeah.
Oh my God,
man.
we're creating good ideas.
This is great.
We'll have to wear it. We'll wear it for like one of the majors or something. Oh yeah, the wheels are turning.
There you go.
Yeah, Gianna's kind of like 10, and you can see there. That was like decent placement wise. Maybe this right lane's hooking a little bit more early for her, but yeah.
Well, the boys did start here. U18 boys.
That's
we
true.
had a few pairs of them, and they were not using a lot of urethane.
No, I was surprised at that.
Yeah.
You know, and we were kind of talking about this earlier. When you get on a pattern like this and they're really tight, speed control is huge. Oh, get lucky. Chop on the 3-6-10.
Do you like that spare?
No. Not particularly.
Yeah.
We're gonna roast Chris Barnes a little bit here.
Ooh.
I guess she watched Chris Barnes' first match on the PVA 50. Or
man.
did you see that?
I did. That was brutal.
That was brutal.
That was so
Sorry, Chris. I gotta throw you under the bus. I know. When you give crap to the old guys like that, you got to know that it's going to come back 10 times harder on you. So
and
I just signed
he does
myself.
run the Beef and Barnesy show, which means you get Stu Williams and Chris Barnes.
Someone's going to get that. So that's okay. I definitely set myself up for failure there.
Yeah.
But she must have been watching the Chris Barnes clinic on how to shoot the 3-6-10 there.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to let you have that. I get enough.
Blair is declining to comment. She's not participating in the joke. Come on, Blair. We're supposed to be a team here.
All right, that's fine. That's fine.
You gotta have
I did watch.
You gotta have my back.
All right, I agree. I have his back. I did watch, and that was brutal. There was nothing else to say about that other than that was brutal.
You know, as a bowler, it's gonna happen to you. No matter if you're just bowling league, you're bowling in a tournament, and especially
you just
when you're
hope it's not live streamed.
Yeah, and when you're a pro and the young people out there, when you're aspiring to be a PBA pro and you're going to bowl on TV, listen, you're going to be nervous.
Yes.
And at some point, you're going to have that game where you're on there, the bright lights are on you, everyone's watching, and all the pressure's on, and you're looking at the lane.
Are falling off.
And you're like, there's nowhere I can throw the ball that is getting to the pocket. I'm trying everything.
Yeah.
I've had that game. I bowled A.J. Johnson in the first round of a playoffs 1 year. And I just remember that entire game. I just can't do anything right.
Yeah.
I think I throw a shot, it goes right. I leave it 210. I move in, I big four, I miss a spare, and before you know it, you're looking up and you have 100 in the eighth, and you're like, what just happened?
Yeah. Yep.
So it's gonna happen to everybody.
I had that game at by no means am I at your level, but we were talking last night about the USPC Open Championships with Matt Orvis.
Yeah.
And not this year, but last year when it was in Vegas, I had what I term an emoji game because it was every split. I left the 8, 10, 7, 9, 2 7-10s for a 118.
It doesn't take much. You say you miss a couple spares, then you just said you pocket 7-10 and you have another pocket split. So your good shots you're splitting, and then you miss a couple spares, and all of a sudden it's really hard to get to 150.
It was true. I'm like, what? And I had just shot. I feel like the game before I shot like 220, and then I shot 118. It was unbelievable. I'm like, all right, I'm done. I give up. Like, can't do anything. So
It happens to everyone at every level.
We feel you, and we know it exists. But Chris, shout out to you.
Okay, double tap. She double tapped it.
Back.
She's in. Players in.
I got
Players
you.
in.
Yeah. Oh man, it looks like we have some dropping pins going on lane 9. I'm watching that. I see that, and I'm like, what is going on with that pair? So hopefully that's not.
Hopefully
It looks like
no,
the mechanic's back there though. I see his hand fly out every once in a while. So
he's working.
He's like, I'm here. I got you. Shout out to Ashwaubenon Bowling Alley. They're awesome here.
Kudos to mechanics. I have a fear of working on machines when people are bowling because I'm always just afraid
Something will happen.
Yeah, just the worst that's going to happen.
Yeah. it's brutal.
So we're game 4 here.
Game 4. Yes. Oh, I can pull up some scores.
Let's pull up
see
some
what-
standings
yeah,
here. Let's see what's happening.
I try to let it go for when we switch games. You got to kind of let it.
Give it some time.
Yeah,
let it do
people
its
have to
thing.
input
Calculate.
scores. Yeah. All right, let's see. U18 girls, because that's what we're watching here. Gianna's in the lead. Not shocking. Emma Yoder is in second. She just was to the left of the
She was
pair.
just to the left over here.
Yeah.
I didn't see what she finished with, but I think she could have got the 2-0. And if she marked, she got the 190, I believe that's
Yeah.
what it was. I don't know what she shot, but she was -1 going into that game, so she
shot 196 last
196,
Yeah.
so still in
Yep.
great shape there.
Yep, and then Abigail Starkey is in third right now.
Okay.
She's gone 2-0, 190, 180. So that's how low scores are, -18. Emily Kringles in fourth, -39. Malia Miscavige, who's just to the right, she's in the softball jersey here. She's been bowling absolutely amazing. She's won some events. She won a team, Billy Gasson's team event that he puts on.
Oh, really?
Did well in PBA Junior. She's just been on a tear. She's currently in seventh at -73, which sounds like a lot, but we've been talking about how hard it is.
Yeah, the scores, it's always relative.
Right.
So.
All right, U18 boys. Trey
Oh, yeah.
Hirschmeyer still leading. Mr. Trey, another one on a tear.
How do you pronounce her name? Malia?
Malia.
Malia.
Yes.
Yeah, Malia throws a great ball.
Yeah. She's a softball player, too. I don't know if you got that from her
I can
jersey.
see that. I can see that with the shirt. It translates. Softball generally translate well, but you can always tell if they're a softball player usually by how they throw it. They just they have a really they kind of wind up and they have that really fast follow through, and a lot of times they can throw it very hard.
Yeah.
Especially if they were a pitcher.
Yeah, Malia is a great bowler, and she's one of the kids hunting for a college. She's on that college hunt right now.
She's on the college hunt.
College hunt.
I think they're all on the college hunt.
Yeah, I think Gianna's on the college hunt right too.
I don't think she has to hunt too much. I think it's gonna come to her pretty easily.
Yeah. Yeah.
Gianna with a nice double after the open with the 3-6-10.
Nice shot by Miss Elizabeth there. I like her game. That was nice.
Yeah, it's amazing how the game has progressed and kids are just throwing it better and better and better.
Yeah. Have you done the math of when you'll see them out on tour?
I don't want to. I'm planning my retirement as I watch.
You're like, I'm out. Yeah. Here. Okay, so U15 boys, right? Let me go back to the U18 boys. So Trey is in the lead on the short at plus. Jeez, I went to the girls.
Yeah, he was plus 56, I believe, and then he just shot 2-0 the last game, I think, or 190. So he's around.
Oh wait,
40.
Keegan jumped into the lead. Okay, so they must be inputting U18 right now, but Keegan's plus 83.
Okay.
Trey's plus 56. Ethan Caruso's plus 41. And then looks like fifth is minus right now. But U15 boys, that's what I was going to say when you said planning my retirement. Miles Gordon plus 32. That's U15.
Yeah, it's pretty solid.
Mr. Joss Weems at plus 8. Again, U15. Elliot Gordon minus 13. So, yeah, I mean, it's fine. The U15's plus. Miss Anna Anthony, who I don't think you'll be able to see. She's just to the left of the live stream. She's two-handed girl.
Yeah, there's a few of them out there.
Yeah, more and more every year.
More and more. All right, we got Patty with a question. She asked me a question in the chat. She said, Kyle, was it full circle for your parents to be in the stands when you got your first individual PBA title on TV after many years of supporting your youth bowling? Oh, absolutely. Actually, it was just my dad in the stands. My mom wasn't able to get off work to make it. She highly regrets that decision, by the way. But it's one of the, yeah, it was completely full circle. My parents were a very integral part on my bowling success. They were great bowlers in their own right within the St. Louis bowling and amateur ranks. They won a lot of tournaments, and yeah, they taught me everything from how to act on the lanes to how to throw a bowling ball. So, yeah, for them to be there, for my dad to be there, especially, yeah, it was amazing. It was, it would have felt weird if he wasn't there or if they were both not there. Without it. So just having that, when you're I had my parents were so supporting that it was just probably a bigger win for them than it was for me.
That's
so
cool.
yeah, it was a very emotional moment. So.
We were talking about that earlier because Brad was talking about, I was commenting and complimenting you guys on how you show every aspect of being a pro bowler.
Mm-hmm.
It's not all good.
It's not all good. It's a lot bad. You know, you
Yeah.
got to think even the best bowler, like, you know, Belmo's probably the best bowler of all time, arguably, and the percentage of tournaments. You know, you look at a guy like Walter Ray.
Yeah.
He's probably won. It's not more than 5%. I would say, you know, if you win 2% of the tournaments that you bowl.
Right.
So if you bowled, yeah, I mean, he's probably bowled hundreds of PBA tournaments, regionals and all that, and he's probably won 4%, I would say, somewhere
nuts.
around there. So 4% is not a high margin.
It's not.
It's
So you guys show everything,
Mm-hmm.
and I was finding some videos to send to the kids that were coming here, and one was the video you're talking about and how you guys interviewed your dad before the show and everything, which was really cool, and it was emotional, and it's awesome. Do you ever go back and watch that video? Probably not.
I don't go back and watch a ton. Sometimes I will.
Yeah.
But you know, in that moment, I almost don't need to, because those are the moments that
You remember.
like
Yeah.
are imprinted in your memory.
You're
like
like,
it
"I
will
got
forever be there.
Yeah.
And especially when you can share those successes with the people that support you, whoever they are.
True.
Because it's you need a support system, and it's very important to have one, whether it's your parents, friends, family, friends, fellow bowlers, whatever it is. Bowling can be a cruel game, and it's a team effort to win at any level. So
Absolutely. It's hard. It's hard out there. We
It's
tell these
hard.
kids, it's not what you think it is, right?
it's it's just competition, and
Yeah.
you find out a lot, and that's the beauty of competing professionally in anything you do. You know, you find out a lot about yourself. You go through so many the trials and tribulations and ups and downs and ebbs and flows, and it's you find out a lot about yourself by how you deal with the bad and how you deal with the good.
Absolutely.
So it's bowling can be an ego check very fast. I'll tell you that.
You're like, I won. Oh,
Yep.
it's over.
I remember when I won,
Yeah.
bowled the next tournament, right? I come out first day, leading the next tournament. I am first place. Brad was actually second place. So we
Yeah.
had this
Oh, that's
crazy. We
fun.
go down to Lubbock, and I'm crushed. I'm like, I'm the best bowler in the world now. I just won. I did that. We bowled the way it worked out is the top 16 made it to the next day. I'm leading the tournament. We bowled 4 games. Then we cut to the top 12. Or 10,
Yeah.
whatever it was. But I'm leading, so I'm good. I got so much room. After those 4 games, I finished in 15th place. You talk about being on the absolute high. And then those 4 games just made me feel like I was the worst bowler in the world. So when I talk about ego check, it can happen in an instant.
You know, Aiden Furukawa, who's bowling this weekend, he just picked up the title at the U18 Boys Junior
Yes.
Gold Tournament, right? And so I asked Aiden, I go, still riding the high? He goes, absolutely not. And I'm like,
Yeah.
what? And he goes, well, everyone told me, take some time off. Ride it. Don't go bowl. Enjoy it, right? Oh, no. Aiden decided to bowl a tournament the first weekend he's back in town.
Yeah.
And he's like, it did not go well. And
Yeah.
then he bowled the JTBA, which is the youth tour for Ohio. He bowled that, and he's like, it was on the Junior Gold Patterns. I think I kind of bowled pretty well.
Yeah,
on
he's got a
those.
good idea
Yeah,
of what
yeah.
to
He's
do.
like, I was the last person to make the cut, and then I'm fighting my way back up to make the TV or the match play. He's like, I did make it into the match play, and then I finished second. He's like, there's no more high.
Yeah,
He's
there's
like,
no
it's
more
over.
high. Yeah, and you know, there's a lot of truth to that. You know,
Yeah.
when you win, and especially as a competitor, you remember the losses way more than you remember the wins. You know, it is important to try to soak in the wins and
Right,
enjoy it because
right.
you want to enjoy it. But as a competitor, you just want to get back out there and
Yeah,
win. And
yeah. He's
so,
like, I wanted to bowl. I couldn't stop.
but you
And he's here with us weekend. So
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, you can't stop. I mean, you can say it, But especially when you just won, you're riding it, you want to compete.
Right.
And if you have the capabilities of winning something like that, you are a true competitor, and you just got to get out there. But, yeah, unfortunately, those highs don't last. But, you never know when they're going to happen. You literally never know when you walk in the center. You might have the best day, worst day, mediocre day. You just don't know. So
Yeah.
you just got to keep on bowling.
Well, that's the fun part. Like, we had, there's a bowler bowling this weekend, Jack Pearson. He had a great tournament in Indy. And a lot of kids that were bowling, that was our biggest tournament we've ever run. We had 3 centers. It could max out at 600 bowlers, I think. It didn't max out, but, it was still a huge tournament, right? And Jack Pearson has bowled so many SYCs. I can't tell you how many, but I remember because we're live streaming and I talk about the kids. I'm like, so he was always kind of like bowling, but never really getting a medal, never doing anything. He came in and led like all the way till the end, and then someone did end up beating him that last round, but he's on our Storm All-American team. And everyone's like, where did Jack Pearson come from? And I'm like, oh, no. He's been bowling.
He's been here.
and I just looked today, and he's like in 3rd or 4th. And I'm like, it just sometimes it all comes together, and it starts clicking. And it's like you said, you don't know when that day is.
You never know when that's going to happen. That's why you just have to keep after it. And it can be the littlest things that change you from literally feeling like you're the worst bowler to all of a sudden you have the greatest day.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many times that's happened in my career where and it's always something really small. Someone tells you something, you think a little different, you change a little something in your physical game. Sometimes it's the littlest things that just turn it all around for you. I
love it. Paige is using surface. I just noticed she was the bowler in the purple jersey here on 7. I can't tell if it's a phase 2 or a DNA. I'm not sure which one it was. But
yeah, to me,
interesting strategy.
Yeah, in this center, I actually believe that it's the center actually hooks pretty early.
Okay.
It kind of seems like there's a lot of early friction here. So the strategy that I would, surface is great, especially on the fresh, but on something like this, if you have too much surface, that ball is going to be hooking really early, and it's going to kill all the energy for it down lane. So you're going to maybe feel like they're tighter than they are because your ball is burning up. So using some medium balls with not a ton of surface on them, maybe lane shine or 2,000 at the most would probably be a strategy I would be going with here. Using anything that's like at 500 or whatnot is going to be a little bit tougher because I think that's just going to create too much early friction. Like you see Gianna here, she's using a fairly medium ball, doesn't have a ton of surface on it. It's letting it get through that front part of the lane a little bit more.
Yeah.
So that would probably be the strategy I'm going with, but I'm not bowling.
Yeah.
So
it's
hard to say. It's easy from the cheap seats back here.
So easy. It's great. I was telling Brad, I'm like, I'd rather watch kids bowling on the weekend than bowl myself every time because it looks hard.
I'm not a good spectator, I'll tell you that.
No, you want to be bowling?
I do.
Yeah?
I feel like I fall into the trap sometimes when I'm spectating where I go, all you got to do is that. Like, you just do that.
Yeah.
And then I got to remind myself, like,
it's really hard.
I've heard those voices in the back saying, all you got to do is that. And I'm like, I know that's all I got to do. But it just doesn't do it.
Yeah, so bowlers, Kyle feels your pain. He's going to tell you what to do, but he knows.
I am your lead sympathizer over here. Just come to me, and I can relate.
Yeah. All right, there you go. We'll set you up. You know what? We'll open a little Dr. Kyle
Yeah,
booth,
a little therapy session in the back. Just come vent.
It's like the old Peanuts cartoon where Lucy has the little like the doctor is in. We'll make you a little booth back there.
Yeah, we'll call it the fry out room. Just come tell me all your problems. I'll listen. I'll take it in.
Okay, Kyle, I have to. You just said fry out. All right, listen. I worked with our graphic designer this year, and we're like, hey, let's make a no fry zone SYC T-shirt and sell it, right? Because we want people to. We want to encourage them, like, oh, don't fry out there, like come fry back here, right, in front of people or whatever. And the kids didn't understand the T-shirt.
Oh, they didn't understand what fry meant?
Yeah, we have to define it now.
We're getting old.
That's
not like, is that an old, I mean, they're just.
I went through this
They're too pure-hearted, that's what it is. They don't understand.
I went through this whole, like, I did exactly what you did. I'm like, is fry an old term? Like, fry out. Everyone says fry out. Apparently not.
Yeah, so should we define fry right here?
Yeah.
for
there
people.
You go.
So
yes, define it.
So to define fry is when you're over the edge. You've had it.
Yes.
You've gone through everything you can possibly do. Nothing's working. You've tried to keep it together.
Yeah.
You've done a great job at this point, but it just set you over the edge to where you can't take it anymore, and sometimes your actions reflect that. So that is maybe
it does happen.
Mumbling some stuff under your breath. If you take it to levels where you maybe hit some things that you shouldn't be hitting, you're making yourself look like a fool to an extent. So, and it's okay to fry. I am a believer that you have to get it out.
Yes, that's true.
But the trick is, you cannot. We go back to the attitude thing like we talked about earlier. The trick is you just go do it where no one can see you.
Right.
So you hold all that anger in, and when you get back to your hotel room or in your car, whatever it is, let it out. You got to let it out. You can't keep it in. But you got to learn somehow to do it in privacy and not in the others. Now, you're going to fail. You are going to do it at some point in front of people because you're going to be like, I don't care.
Yeah.
It's going to happen. But you got to keep it to a minimum.
Great
But that's
definition.
fry. That's
there
fry.
You go. Yeah, that was great. That was fantastic. And you're right. It does happen.
Oh, I'm an expert in the fry zone. I'm an expert.
All right, so maybe we'll actually, where we're going to set you up is the I Am Bowling merch area, and you can just advertise this T-shirt that no one understands.
Yeah, I will. I'll just come to me. I'll let you know what this means.
Yeah.
And then, know what's going to happen? Someone's going to clip me during the tour, and I'm just making an absolute fool of myself frying out there and be like, well, clearly he lives up to the
Well, actually, Jeff Phillips just said you need to do inside fry footage for your premium members.
Oh, my gosh.
He's requesting fry footage.
See, I would do that, but I don't trust anyone that watches my stuff to not release that to the rest of the public.
Yeah, that's so funny.
That would some of that stuff would go viral so fast, and I don't think Storm would appreciate some of the words that come out of our mouths when we're not meaning it.
We know it though, because here's the thing, and we tell the kids this, right? And it comes up in every seminar for the kids, right? You love it. That's why you do it, right? You
Correct.
love bowling, and so passion creates some feelings.
Of course.
It does, and sometimes those feelings don't end well.
Correct.
And that's what happens, right?
That
it
is,
happens.
When you love the game, and I try to tell people, like, when they whether they get nervous,
right,
whether they get mad, those feelings are all great.
Yeah.
Because that means you care. That
right.
means you want to be good. That means you want to compete. You want to win. And those feelings, those come with you caring so much about what happens. When you grow as a bowler, the trick is just to learn how to control those emotions a little bit more.
100%. Yeah.
And so it's okay to get nervous. Like if you don't get nervous, they say if you don't get nervous, you don't care. And I agree with that 100%. One of the greats, Norm Duke, talking to him, he's bowled on TV so many times, and you ask him, do you get nervous? He goes, hell yeah, I get nervous. Are you kidding me? He's like, I'm still shaking up there. So Norm, you've thrown the shots to win hundreds of thousands. You've won tournaments under pressure. Like, so how do you do it? He's like, dude, you can't fight the nerves.
Right.
Because you're always going to be nervous. He's like, you just have to learn. He says, you have to learn how to bowl with no legs. You got to learn. You got to embrace it, and you got to go, okay, this is just another avenue of what I have to learn how to deal with and bowl under, that you just got to learn how to do it, because you're going to feel different. You can't replicate that feeling of the nerves, throwing the shot under the pressure. You can try with visualization in practice, and it does help. Putting yourself in that situation does help, but you got to learn how to bowl with no legs. You got to learn how to bowl when you're shaking. And it's encouraging when you hear one of the greatest of all time say that he still gets nervous. You're like, okay, it eases you in that moment.
Right.
Because you look at these guys and you're like, oh, they're not nervous. No. I
They just handle
promise
it.
you. They can deal with those nerves a little bit better, and that just all comes with experience.
Well, and it's like we talked about, Brad and I were talking about it earlier. It's the levels, right? Like, you master youth bowling, and then you're like, oh, now I get to go bowl in college. There's a whole new set of nerves and things to master.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And then you think you've mastered college bowling, and you're like, yeah, I'm good. I'm one of the best. I'm ready to go out on tour. Oh, hey, new level. It's like a video game. You just unlocked a new level.
Yeah.
Get ready.
It's just like you keep as you go up, you just start from the bottom again.
Yeah.
You just You just keep putting yourself in bigger ponds until you're in the ocean swimming with the sharks and you got to bowl EJ every week and you're like, okay,
Here we go.
Here we go.
Yeah, what a year he had. Holy
Oh
cow.
my God, he was unbelievable. It's good for him. That match that he had with Belmo where he doubled in the 10th is just it's so crazy. And that's one of those things. You put yourself in that situation so many times. He's failed in that situation so many times, but it was all worth it for that win. So good for him.
All right, so for all the Gianna fans watching, which there are a few, shouting out to Gianna, she finished with a 205 this game. It's like we got some 180s, 160s. Teresa here, or Teresa, I don't know if it's Teresa or Teresa. She's going to finish with a nice little 190-ish game.
190-ish game?
Yeah, which is tough on this pattern. All right.
Yep.
She'll take it, move
Well,
on.
196? Yeah, you will take that in a heartbeat.
Yeah. Kyle, thank you for joining us. We'll have you back in this afternoon to talk some more bowling. Go set up your fry booth.
Yeah, fry booth, come in.
Yeah. Anyway, all right, we're going to take a short break. They're going to switch lanes, and we'll be right back. And we're back. I'm joined by Mr. Matt Gasson again.
What's up?
Matt, you
Back
explored the bowling center.
I did. I walked up and down, had some lunch.
How was the food?
It was great. It's good.
Shout out to
really,
Ashwaubenon
really good. They have
again.
an awesome, kitchen bar area here. It's massive, massive.
I'll hold this up in my little screen. I was looking at the menu. They have everything you could possibly want in a bowling center.
I was trying to not eat, and then I looked at the menu. So that was where I went wrong.
They have Mexican street corn.
Yes.
They have every Wisconsin item you could think of. I did find cheese curds. I'm going to have cheese curds at lunch. I did decide that. And then maybe I'll have a salad with it.
Yeah, help it up a little bit.
Yeah,
to
really.
Wash down the cheese curds.
Yeah. Maybe. Although the bacon cheeseburger pizza. What
She
happened?
said she's making me carry her stuff around.
Oh, Miss Abby Starkey passing through. She's like, "What? Where'd my ball rep go?"
No, I think she was carrying. What was that the little one's name? Ella.
Oh,
Think
Ellie
Ellie,
Kate.
yeah, I think she's carrying her
Oh.
stuff around for her.
Ellie Kate has a way of getting someone to carry her bowling ball in every tournament. When you're that cute.
I need to learn that. Oh, that's why that throws me right out
Apparently,
the
it's the
window, I
bow.
guess, yeah.
You should try the bow
I
in your
need to-
hair.
I need to get with Verity and get the both situation figured out, I guess.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Abby's like, I'm bowling and I'm carrying a bowling ball. At least it's light. I think she's only throwing like 12 or 13 because she's two-handed, so she can throw heavier.
Right. That's the thing. Like two-handed bowling, everyone talks about like how much easier it makes it, and I'm like, I stink two-handed. Like,
Yeah,
I
right?
cannot. My rev rate stays the same. It might even go up a little bit, and my ball speed goes down like 5 miles an hour. I can only throw like plastic balls. I'm decent at throwing plastic balls.
This is a nice little pickup. Not to interrupt you, but Miss Alyssa Bechtel, who's a big Cincinnati Bengals fan, she usually tells us to shout out a Bengals player. Let's see if she did that this tournament.
Joey Burrow.
She did do a shout out
Joey
to
Burr.
Joe Burrow one tournament, but nice little split conversion by Miss Alyssa. Yeah, the last one she did.
Jamar
see.
Chase. The last one.
Oh yeah, Jamar Chase, and she did Joe Burrow. So
Joe Burr.
no new Bengal right now. Got Grace Zerner on this pair, Savannah Portillo, Chloe Hansen, Abby Wilkerson, and Abigail Helsen. Abigail, I messed up your name. I'm
That's
sorry.
A lot of two-handed girls. I feel like more than I've ever seen. I'm walking up and down the bowling center. I probably count 10, 15 of them.
Yes, they are growing
More
in
than that.
numbers. I believe I've said this the last few tournaments. I think we're 4 years out from a two-hander on the PWBA tour, like full time. That's where I'm putting it 4 years. I've thrown that out there. It used to be 10, but I feel like it's closer than it's ever been.
Yeah.
Because there's some in college right now. And
There are.
There's a bunch that are. I think it's 4. That's my number. I could be wrong. What do you think?
I've seen a handful of them.
Yeah.
And there's a few of them here that look like the toughest thing about two-handed bowling is getting the ball roll right. Like
Yeah.
there's a lot of two-handed bowlers that throw the ball with two hands. Their tilt's a little bit funky and kind of causes the ball to read the lane a little bit funky. But there's a lot of them here that have really good ball roll and do it right. So there's definitely more and more of them that are figuring it out and doing it right. So it's coming for sure.
Miss Savannah, who's a awesome youth bowler here. She has grown a foot, I believe, easily. Her and her sister bowl SYCs. She's from Michigan. She bowls a lot of MJMAs and stuff.
There's people that came from all over to bowl this.
Yeah,
That's
they
awesome.
do. Yeah, I didn't hear the number. Leanne usually says how many states are represented. I'm gonna have to ask her at lunch what that number is.
Just looking on the sheet really quick, I saw Wisconsin, I saw Illinois, I saw Florida, I saw Texas, I saw South Dakota, I saw Minnesota, I saw Iowa, thought I saw somewhere out west too. I can't remember.
Oh yeah, we have an Idaho because I
Yeah.
remember them checking in and we asked if they bowled the Idaho event and that was their first SYC. So it's crazy. They come from all over.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not crazy because I see it all the time and I'm like, yeah, that's what they do. But it
It's
still
hard to
is.
believe,
It
yeah.
is, right? Like,
Just fly up for a weekend youth tournament. Yeah.
it's nuts. But I guess it's like every other sport now. It
It
really
is,
is. Like, you know, you used to do it for baseball and softball and all those other sports, hockey. Bowling's just like it. Do you know there's kids that live in Utah that in Colorado? I know it happens in both those states for sure. I don't know if it's other places, but they're on the U.S. ski or snowboarding Olympic teams, and they live in Utah away from their families during the winter. Like, they're boarded there and just
Kept hostage.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I don't know if it's that severe, but it feels like it, right? Like, but I think gymnastics, they do that too. I don't know how much anymore, but I feel like we're one step away from doing that in bowling. Although some of these kids do, like, I've heard some kids travel to work with coaches and spend some weeks there, and
That's what we should do. We should bring kids out to Utah and groom them into professional bowlers.
Jeez, yeah, right. Like, yeah, here, we'll purchase a hotel in Brigham City. Bill, sorry.
Surprised he doesn't own one yet.
Yeah, really.
What are you doing, Bill?
Yeah. That is a good time to mention that Bill and Barb Chrisman, how much they give to the sport of bowling. The reason that SYCs exist are because Gary and Leanne came up with the idea, and then Bill and Barb were willing to give back. SYC is a total give back on our part. They are net zero, and we're proud of that. And everyone that comes out, you know, you're volunteering, you're giving up your weekend to be here with the kids.
Yep.
The players give up their weekend. They're not paid for their appearance this weekend, so they're volunteering their time. And it's just a little way that we give back and hope that these kids will continue bowling when they get older. And what a great event it's become. And
They are. They're really two of the most, not even just, I mean, obviously in bowling they do a ton for the sport, to grow the sport, but not even just in bowling with how charitable
it's amazing.
that they are. Yeah, it was honestly when, you know, a couple of years ago before I actually worked for Storm and I was, you know, in the process of, you know, starting to work for Storm. It was one of the things that made it most attractive is, you know, you know, their priority of like growing bowling and giving back to bowling, and, you know,
it's incredible
being a part of that. Yeah.
Well, and they give back through the sport. So we do not only the youth side of things, but they give back to, you know, it's almost October. Paint the Lanes Pink is coming up. We donate to the Huntsman in Utah, which is a breast cancer facility, research facility. Mm-hmm. They donate to, there's a women's abuse shelter in Utah that they donate to.
Didn't they build an entire wing onto that thing?
They did. Yeah, it's incredible. I mean, that's such a huge topic in this country, and they really do help that shelter out a lot. And we donate clothes and everything. We adopt children in around the holidays and get some gifts for them. So it's just a total community of giving back.
Well, I think from their perspective, and I probably would look at it the same way if I were in their shoes, is they're in the position they're in because of bowling. So why
absolutely.
Not, you know, help bowling, get into as good of a position as they can get bowling into, you know.
Totally. I'm looking up to see if Savannah filled out her bio. I need to look up some bios. I know these kids, but you forget what all the things they've done because they're so talented on the lanes. Like Miss
So
Alyssa here.
do they fill out a bio for every single tournament, or is it just
It depends.
the season?
Yeah, I mean, some of them fill out for a season. Sometimes I tell them, I'm like, if you have updates, you can fill them out.
Sure.
It's all in one inbox.
Got it.
Some kids do fill it out every single time, and they have different shout-outs. Sometimes they forget. Sometimes their parents fill it out for them. I had a really funny Abby Starkey one time that her dad Brad had filled out. It was awesome. He called her out for leaving Starbucks cups in his car. It was money. It was great. So parents, if your youth bowler chooses not to fill out the bio, you can fill it out for them. Yeah, really. You can totally. And you can tell me, hey, I filled it out. Go read it.
Give them a shout out, and then I bet you they fill out the bios going forward.
Yeah. Nice shot by Grace. Her form is really good. She could maybe get a little speed, but that's really
the toughest
right.
thing, yeah. There's no swing. You know, you kind of cradle it, so it's all created with the legs, and you know, that's the toughest. To me, that's the toughest. The rev rate's the easy part. The tough part's getting the speed to kind of match it.
Let's see if she filled out a bio. Let's see if we know Miss Grace. I'd like to know how long she's been bowling. Grace Zerner. We don't have one for her.
Age 27.
Not her.
No.
Let's see, Abby Wilkins. See, now the U18. Oh, look, Abby filled out a bio. Miss Abby here. She's 14 years old, average 190. This is her first SYC. She's from Rockford.
Okay.
What a historic bowling town that is.
Yep.
Actually bowls at the Cherry Bowl.
Okay.
Yeah. Favorite pro bowlers, Verity and Daria. Two good choices.
Two great choices.
She loves bowling because there's a lot to understand and there's always more to learn. Well put.
Facts.
Yep. She also likes playing volleyball and she reads. And she wants to say hi to Justin Mooney for coaching and drilling her bowling balls. Shout out to Justin. You have Rockford in your territory?
I don't. It's Illinois.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
Doane.
Illinois is Doane, yes. I always get messed up in this area.
Yeah, it's all kind of close together. So for me to go to Iowa, most times I actually drive through Illinois, so I just drive past all of Doane's accounts to get to mine.
It's funny. You're like, hey. Yeah, I think there's a couple Mickey and Travis split New Jersey, and then Steve, Todd, and Doane. I always get confused in their area too. Like, who owns this part?
Doane is Michigan, Indiana, Illinois, and Missouri.
Okay. They used to split Ohio. I think Steve took it all.
Steve took it all.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they split New Jersey or not out east, but I know. Yeah, basically once you get to like Pennsylvania, Delaware, Travis has that on south until you get to Ralph's area.
Right.
Down in, I think Ralph has Georgia.
I mean, it really, when you guys start talking about all the states, you realize how big the U.S. really is and why we need
There's
so
nine
many
of,
guys.
There's 9 of us. I think there's 9 salesmen.
Yeah.
In the 50 states.
Yeah, there
So-
are. Yeah. It's crazy. This Chloe's pretty tall. I like it.
Pretty low scoring though. I was talking. I was like, short pattern. With as much urethane that goes down the lane these days, I just really thought that the pattern was going to be. It definitely looked like it was touchy, but I didn't think it was going to be this brutal. I mean, I don't see anybody through 4 games. I don't think I saw anybody 100 over.
No.
It wasn't like somebody even bowled like 279 and like just had a good game to get them there. Like they're just tough. It looks like.
Yeah. The what was I gonna say? I'm gonna look up scores, but you're totally right. And I did not. Normally, the short pattern is tricky at the SYC. It is.
Does it have the conditioner on here? I would imagine if they're using like terrain or.
I don't know. We could find that out at the break. We'll ask Matt. He'll tell us. I actually could text him.
Yeah, find out. I'd be interested. If they're using like terrain or current or something with a little thicker oil, a little higher viscosity, I could understand why urethane doesn't look so good.
Shout out to the Orvises again. They wanted this tournament here, so.
They did. They were talking about it last night, how bad they wanted to get an SYC
Yeah,
here.
it's great. And I think, we're, like I said earlier, we're working on the schedule, trying to announce it September. Oh, current is what they use.
Current. Yeah, so that could make sense.
Yeah. We're announcing September 1st. It's so hard to make that schedule. Leanne works on it for months. We have so many great bowling centers, ones that we want to go back to, ones that we haven't gone to yet. But I feel like this is this is a bowling center that we do want to come back to. But it's going to be hard because they run so many tournaments. So next year I think they have some stuff going on, and we'll see when we come back to Green Bay.
Well, you want to do it this time of year, that's for sure. You don't want to do it in January
Nope.
or February.
Nope, we're out.
It's only a short window you can be in Green Bay.
Well,
And
beyond just the weather, it's high school bowling too, because they're so busy.
Right.
Like, yeah.
they're busy with high school bowling, and then all of these kids, July is pretty much out for
Yes.
most of these
Yeah,
kids.
we don't
So,
do an
like,
event in July.
And that's the main time to be in Green Bay, so you know what I mean? So, yeah.
Yeah, it makes the window kind of short. Yeah, you know what's killing us next year? And this is no surprise for anyone. We are not going to Las Vegas for the first time in a really long time. For the first
Why?
time in a long time, because A, they run so many events there, and B, the Super Bowl's there. So normally we go in February.
Oh, yeah.
And
Good luck.
the Super Bowl kind of took that from us. Dang it. Dang Super Bowl. Yeah. So that one's sad. But we're trying to take care of the West Coast bowlers. There's just not a lot of big bowling centers in the West Coast.
No, and part of that, honestly, is because once you get out that, especially in California or anywhere that, out that way, you have to have so much land to accommodate a bowling center, and the property value is so high. A lot of the bigger centers have sold. And
Yeah.
we're tired.
Yeah, it's. I mean, we're going through that in where I live in Utah, and there's a couple bowling centers. They're building a family fun center with bowling in it, no leagues, and then the bowling center that's in Ogden, our city, the land is worth so much that they're just fighting to stay open, kind of.
Yeah.
Which is sad. I mean, it's all sad. And then you lose bowling centers, so yeah. So you were right on the short pattern. U18 boys, after 4 games, plus 22 is leading.
Oh, wow.
Devin Titus.
Well, what is Trey at? Because Trey was at 6 under. He was 50-something over after 2.
He had a really not so great 4th game.
Got it.
-6.
So he bowled 130.
138. Yeah. That was pretty brutal. Christian Mouton is even. He's in 3rd. Carter Westcott's in 2nd. Just kind of grinding. 188, 197, 224, 194. And then Devin, same thing. 185, 233, 215, 189.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, you put on a 35-foot pattern. Like I said, the key is managing the amount of friction that's in the back of the lane, and you can do that with urethane. But the thing when you oil the lanes with some thicker oils is it's almost like mud on the lane. So those balls that want to dig in and grab early and blend the lane out don't really get through the oil consistently. So a lot of people think that like higher viscosity oils make the lanes play tighter, and they can if you throw the wrong ball. But it just really wants to kind of grab onto the ball.
Oh, Stephanie Alexander says we're still missing some scores. All right, never mind. But still, I don't know what Keegan's at. Stephanie, do you know what Keegan's at? This is the hard part.
You can do control find on there.
Oh yeah, I can. Okay. Oh, please.
I should work at Apple.
You got this. All right, Keegan. Oh yeah, Keegan's 4th game isn't in. 233, 217, 233. So depending on what his 4th game was. Oh, and he shot 267 game 4. So he's our leader.
So he's striking.
Yeah. He was plus 83 before game 4.
And I think I did. I watched him bowl 1 game. I think I watched him finish the 3rd game, and they were running behind down there, and he was throwing urethane out to the right.
Gotcha. And Keegan, Stephanie, Keegan Alexander went on the record last night and said he does not enjoy bowling in the state of Wisconsin. Just saying. And we said, well, why don't you change it this weekend?
Yeah, he's got to get used to it. There's a lot of good bowling that goes on in Wisconsin. There's a lot of money to be won up here.
Yeah.
Especially with the amount of, it feels like there's some type of major of some sort that's held in Milwaukee.
Yeah.
And now they're doing the LBC thing up there.
Which is really cool.
Yeah. So there's money to be had up here.
And Wisconsin loves bowling, you guys. Like, don't hate on Wisconsin.
Cheese
they love
and
it
bowling.
here. Yeah. That's right. Stephanie says it's his first time bowling there. I don't know. That's what he said last night. I can't make this up.
Maybe he bowled in Illinois. A lot of people get Illinois and Wisconsin. It like blends together, kind of like Chicago and Milwaukee.
Yeah. Trey was getting on him. It's like, what? How do you hate Wisconsin? I don't know. Carlos is asking if there's a link for the scores. There is a link. It is bowlmetrics.com. Unfortunately, I cannot put things into the chat in this software. So, Stephanie or someone else, can you drop the Bowlmetrics link into the chat for Mr. Carlos? Can you assist? I appreciate it.
So how many more SYCs do we have this season, Ms. Blair?
There are 2 left. So next month, The SYC is going to Rhode Island for the first time ever,
Oh, cool.
which is really sweet.
Smallest state in the United States.
Smallest state. Yeah, really cool. A lot of the East Coast kids are really excited about that. It's going to be in their backyard. And then we're closing out the season with the Coastal Classic, which is a favorite for most of the bowling families because it is in Myrtle Beach. I believe it's our 7th or 8th event there.
Mhm.
And it is, people love it.
Myrtle
So
Beach
it's
is awesome,
yeah,
yeah.
it's two centers, North Carolina, South Carolina, 30 minutes apart. There is a cut at that tournament. It's the only time that we do a cut at the SYC, and it's because of the size of the centers. So Sunday, the top half of all of the divisions will come and bowl only at Planet Fun. But it's families love it because they get a weekend on the beach. So shake it off. Thank you, Stephanie, for dropping the link in the chat. Got a shout out for Abby, who's bowling on lane 8, I believe. It's tripping me out. I don't have lane numbers. I keep having to look up. I'm like, what lane is this? 7 and 8.
Some old school scoring masking units.
It's great, isn't it? Yeah, I was talking to Matt, and he goes, we have to look at, they have a 60-lane house, right? Everything costs a lot of money.
Yes.
When an air conditioning unit goes out, there's probably 3 more that they need to replace too, right?
I guarantee in here they have north of 10 air conditioning units up
Probably.
up there. Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, it's so long. Yeah, so they're remodeling. They have a brand new bar and restaurant. They've remodeled some of the bathrooms. They're looking at scoring. Like, there's so much that goes into a bowling center that you don't think about. But he goes, I'll leave the masking units as long as I can because that's the...
Those don't go bad.
Yeah. And it is fun. It's fun to have them. A little classic. This is a true, when you think of a bowling center, it feels like a bowling center. It's a big league bowling center. It's great. I would bowl league here.
Well, there's, bowling's always been popular in cities and towns that have, a lot of, plants and plant workers in them. And there's a lot of plants still up this way, kind of in Green Bay.
Absolutely.
And, a lot of bowling centers in towns, especially kind of back in the day, they'd be open 24 hours, and you would work that third shift overnight and come in and bowl your league at 8 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah, the bowling center, there was a bowling center in Columbus that just up until COVID was open 24 hours. And then when COVID happened, they never came back to 24 hours. So nice little break for Miss Abigail there. Yeah, so we are wrapping up Game 5. The bowlers will take a break after this, and then they get to come back and bowl on a whole new pattern, medium pattern.
They're all probably like, thank goodness, get us off this.
Yeah, we're done. There's another one who's grown about 2 feet since I saw her last. Addison Cole. Moo is her nickname. But these kids keep growing. What are you feeding these kids, parents? That's what I want to know. Thank you for feeding them. Thank you for clothing them. Thank you for bringing them to the SYC. But they're growing up so quick. Tough leave there. The old 1-8. I'm sorry, 1-9. So, Matt, where are you off to after the SYC?
I am going home. I have been on the road for about 3 weeks
It
doing
is trade show time, yes.
Yep, so I was in Detroit Thursday afternoon, night, and I left Detroit probably around 5 p.m.-ish, maybe a little bit before 5 p.m., and drove to Green Bay. So I'm ready to go home for a couple of days, a week or so.
Yeah, people think being on the road all the time would be so cool.
Glamorous,
right?
yeah, right.
You get to go everywhere.
It has its perks for sure, but definitely it's lots of hotel rooms, lots of time away from family and friends, and no real routine. It's just kind of tough to just kind of grind along. But
yeah. The summers are really busy for everyone that works in the bowling industry, I think. Like, people think, there's no bowling in the summer. And that's when everything
when we're the
heats up,
busiest.
right?
We're basically getting everything ready for, league's end, and we start getting ready for the next part of the season. Like, we don't just, it's not like August 15th happens and we're just like, all right, let's figure it out these next 2 weeks.
Yeah, right? Yeah. But I think the one thing that I find, and these kids travel so much and parents travel, time zones are so relative. It's amazing. Like, sometimes I'll go home and I can't even tell you what time zone I'm actually on, because I'm just waking up at this time and I have I'm sure you feel like that sometimes. It's like, yeah.
So we have every Friday we have a sales meeting.
Yeah.
And I have missed it a few times because my territory splits time zones, and I don't realize that I'm in a different time zone. And there's been times where I wake up and I get on the call because my alarm goes off at 9:30 for the call.
Yeah.
And I text Ernest or somebody, and he's like, "Yeah, that was an hour ago, dude."
And you're like,
I was like, "Oh my god,
never mind." Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, it's like, I can't. Like, I'll go back and then, mountain time is the weirdest time, which all you families know now because, SYC goes on sale at noon mountain time, and we'll have a lot of people reach out 2 to 3 hours or an hour before it's supposed to go on sale, and they're like, I'm on the site, it's not live.
And mountain time never changes time, right?
So we do. That's Arizona, but we do change time. Yeah, we still change time, but Arizona doesn't. So it's weird. Like, mountain time's weird.
So only Arizona doesn't.
Only Arizona.
Because sometimes throughout the year you're an hour behind Central, and other times you're 2.
Yeah, that's only Arizona, and then we always change. So we're always 2 hours behind.
Okay.
Or
An
we're
hour
always
behind
an
Central.
hour behind Central. Yeah, yeah. It's weird.
Or sometimes, maybe not 2. Maybe sometimes you're an hour, sometimes you're not. I can't remember, but I knew
Yeah.
it's weird.
Yeah, mountain time's weird.
They're trying to start petitions to do away with daylight savings time.
I think I could get on board with that because it really does
It's
wreck people.
confusing, yeah.
Yeah. It does. And now that I have a dog, I think people that have children always say it wrecks adults, but it really messes with kids. And it really messes with animals. I remember when my dog,
something to do with the moon and the way it,
Yeah, and he was completely wrecked for 3 days. He was like, I don't know what time to eat. He was just sleeping more. I'm like, what's wrong with you? Then he snapped back.
I don't know what the difference is if it's the same time all year round. And sometimes it gets lighter or darker, earlier or later. It's like if I lived in Alaska, it's what I mean. It's dark 23 hours of the day.
I don't know about
sometime
that.
of the year, and light 23 hours a day some other time.
That is what we're heading towards. Oh, the darkness. It's coming. So Savannah Portillo here, or Portillo, that ball, she's pretty far in, and it's just not making it. It's just not quite. I don't know if it's burning up. I'm not sure what ball she's throwing.
This time of the day, it starts to get a little bit funky, especially if you don't have rev rates, because there's been so much urethane going down the lane right now.
And
so
the U18 boys started here, so
yeah, a lot of urethane, a lot of plastic, because the scores are super low, so there's been a lot of plastic balls going down the lane for spares. So urethane and plastic pushes oil down, and then if you don't have rev rate to kind of cut through it down the lane, it's just really tough to create any entry angle into the pins.
Great shot by Abby. She's throwing her absolute. I thought that would go. She's having a rough go of it. She's missed some spares, but I'm sure she's just like, can we be done? Is it lunchtime? And she really wanted that 7-pin to fall, so she didn't have to shoot at it.
One less shot, yeah.
That 7-pin was like, nope, not today. Pick it up right here. Oh, yes. She's just done. She's like,
not as happy as we are.
I need lunch.
Same. I just had lunch, but I'm thinking about lunch number 2.
I know, right? Hey, there's cheese curds. I'm just saying. Cheese curds are not lunch. They're a snack. You could add that to you're in Wisconsin.
I'm always in Wisconsin.
I know, yeah. It's true. You
Well,
do have to
true, actually.
minimize.
That's not true. I'm not
You have
always in
to
Wisconsin.
minimize your cheese curds when you live here, I'm sure.
Well, it's like anything else. It's like when you come to visit Wisconsin, you're like, I gotta get cheese curds. When you live here, it's like, I don't.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
It's like living in Vegas. You know, if you live in Vegas, you know to go nowhere near the Strip. But if you're in Vegas
Right.
visiting, you hang out on the Strip.
Right? Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, because there's nowhere like it.
Well, how are the girls score? Are there any girls that are plus in the
Let me look.
U18 division on the girls side?
Let's see if I'm going
I
to
saw
refresh one more time.
Gianna got off to a little bit of a rough start. She bowled like 240 something the second
Yep,
game.
she's plus 30. She's gone 148, 243, 234, 205. She did tell me, she was on this pair the last time. She said that 148, she was using a ball that was not right, and she kind of knew it wasn't right, but she was hoping it wouldn't get her in trouble, and it just was
Got
not.
her in trouble.
Yeah, it was not listening.
Never works out that way, huh?
Yeah. Abigail Starkey's in second, minus 11, and then Emma Yoder, minus 26. So only Gianna is plus. Let's look at U15 girls. U15 girls, Anna Antony, who is just to the right. She just finished with a 180, it looks like. Yeah, because those scores follow. Oh, that's, look at that. The totals follow them? Is that true? I'm going to have to confirm that because that would make our lives a lot easier. But Anna Antony finished with a 180 game, and she was minus 39 before that game. Addison Cole was minus 91 in second, but she didn't look like she was. Yeah, she had a bad last game. Savannah Portillo here, she was in third, minus 117. Man, these U15 scores are. It's going to be a tight race here.
So there's a winner for each.
Yes.
And they get, but all the scholarship and the trophies are awarded by a total of the three. So what do you win for winning a block or a
Yeah,
round?
so we give out medals for each round. So you can be the gold medalist, gold, silver, bronze. So top three on each pattern, we award medals. And then we do overall medals, overall champions, and then the scholarship is based on your total score for the whole weekend.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So really, the SYC is rewarding consistency across patterns. We want bowlers to, because really that's what that's the game, right?
Yep.
Being the most consistent, that even, no real highs, no really lows.
Versatility across different length patterns.
Yeah.
Yep.
And we have had bowlers, more than once, we've had bowlers not medal on a round and either get a medal overall or win overall. I mean, which is just incredible. Like, I don't know how they do it, but they do it. They figure out a way. So Savannah here, she was in, what did I say, third or fourth? I think third, maybe? Ooh, double there. That's huge. Yeah, Savannah was in third. Addison did not have a great last game, so Savannah could move up to second, depending on what others do. Stephanie Alexander says Micah Voris is the best at that. I agree. Micah does. He probably has one more overall medals without medaling in a round than anyone in SYC history. I mean, he ends up second overall. I can't tell you how many times, and hasn't done anything short, medium, or long. My dad says that my dad just popped in, and he said, forget the cheese curds. Dad, no, I like cheese curds.
What's a cannibal sandwich?
I have no idea, but he says, if you don't know, you live here.
I'm interested.
I'll have him text me. Dad, text me what a cannibal sandwich is, because I have no idea.
I feel like everywhere in the United States has like a weird thing.
And my dad will know
There's the
it.
thing in like Rochester that's called like the kitchen sink or whatever.
Yes, and I've had it, and it's really good, but I don't feel like I should have it more than
Once
like,
in your life.
Yeah, exactly. That's how I feel. Because Kelvin, we went to Rochester this year, and Kelvin's like, you have to have the kitchen sink. And I'm like, or they call it the gutter plate.
The gutter plate.
Yeah.
I've heard of it that too, but
Yeah.
either way, it's the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, there is something everywhere. Yeah, because in Utah we have fry sauce and funeral potatoes. Like, that's crazy. So, all you foodies out there, we know it. Oh, that would have been a good way to end. A little Messenger 710. All right, so we are going to take a break, and we will be back this afternoon, 2:30 p.m. We're going to do some awards. We're going to have some lunch, because we've been talking about lunch for literally 2 hours.
Speak it into existence.
Yeah. And then we'll be back with some more bowling this afternoon. So
Sounds
stay
good.
tuned, you guys.